tie the game. The Spirit rallied to win it 5-3. Tonight, it's the Spirit and the Blast as the rivalry continues.
Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer is brought to you by Stroh's, America's Fire Brewed Beer. By Thrift Drug, where you get our extra service. By Burger King, home of the bigger and better Whopper. Aren't you hungry for Burger King now? By Mellon Bank, a neighbor you can count on. And by Cameron Coca-Cola Bottling Company. We've got a taste for you. Coke.
From the Civic Center in Baltimore, Maryland, it's the showdown for the final playoff spot in the MISL's Eastern Division as the Pittsburgh Spirit take on the Baltimore Blast. A very pleasant good evening, everyone, and welcome to Baltimore, Maryland. I'm John Sanders with John Paul Della Camera. Both these teams can look back and say, boy, if only, what if, even back to last night you can do that. But forget it. Throw out the first 47 games because as we go into this one tonight, they really don't mean anything, and one check of the standings will show you what we're talking about. This is it.
Well, the season is down to one game, John. The winner of this game has fourth place, and the winner of the Cleveland-Minnesota game has first place. So whoever wins this game is going to play the winner of that other game to decide the opening round of the series.
And if you look at both of these teams coming in, the Spirit put on a burst after the game in Dallas a couple of weeks ago when everybody thought it was over. Pittsburgh came on. They won 3 in a row. Lost last night to an excellent Cleveland team. Baltimore has been going steadily downhill the last part of the season.
Well, they've got some problems here. There's a lot of talk in the newspaper about Baltimore having some players that are undermining Ken Cooper and his efforts. And Paul Kitson, we were told, would not play tonight, and he has not played in the last several games. But Baltimore has lost 9 of their last 11. They played a good game on the road last night, but lost a tough one to Chicago.
And the problem for Pittsburgh is winning here in the Civic Center. They are 2-10 in this building, but if you go back to last Tuesday, I think the victory in the Civic Arena has to help them.
I think that Pittsburgh is playing a little bit better on the road, and that has to help. If there was ever a time to play Baltimore, it's now because Baltimore's hurting.
We'll get set for the kickoff. The playoffs are at stake as the Blast take on the Spirit here in the Civic Center in Baltimore on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. Was at stake tonight here in the Civic Center rather than just the final playoff spot, but that's the kind of attitude, the atmosphere that surrounds this game tonight. There's going to be plenty of crowd noise for you, and from the Civic Center in Baltimore, we invite you to join us here for our national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I think you can tell the fans are into this one. The Spirit would love to score some goals, and we've got some other people who would like to see them score some goals as well, right, JP?
Well, Irvin Billings is our contestant from Swissvale. He'd love to see Marcio Leite score a goal because it's worth $100 in groceries from the new Giant Eagle if Marcio gets it. At this point, Don Pavlovic doesn't care who gets it as long as someone scores tonight for Pittsburgh.
This broadcast is intended for the private use of our viewing audience. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Civic Arena Corporation and the Pittsburgh Spirit is prohibited. And we continue to have some ceremonies at midfield. Stan Stamenkovich, the last man to leave the center circle. Of course, he's the MVP again this year for Baltimore. And you look at the Pittsburgh Spirit. They get set for tonight with David Bursic in goal. What a tremendous job he has done. David tonight will be starting for the 43rd time this season, JP. That's almost unbelievable.
And 21 straight. We take a look at a concerned Kenny Cooper. He is not used to this. The Baltimore Blast have lost 3 straight and 9 out of their last 11 games.
Bursic will start in goal for Pittsburgh. His goals against average is 3.79. His one-loss record, an even 500 at 21-21. He'd like to go one game above 500 and set the stage for the playoffs that would follow. As JP said, the opponent for either one of these teams unknown at this point. It'll be Keith Van Aaron in goal, 0-0. 3.73 goals against average. His record is 13-10. JP, you pointed out he is 7-0 in this building against the Spirit.
And he's lost his last 5 decisions. He's had some hard luck, and he is hoping he won't have that kind of hard luck tonight. For the Pittsburgh Spirit, Stan Terlecki has made the trip. He's in the lineup. So is Yilmaz Orhan. Charlie Green not in the lineup, and Ian Sibby's sitting out tonight. He was injured slightly in last night's game against Cleveland. People are already on their feet. This has all the atmosphere of a playoff game. Ball is cleared back now to David Bursic. Pittsburgh will go right to left. We welcome our viewers on KDKA television and our listeners on KQV News Radio. Stan Stamenkovich in the attack zone, back heeling it. Kapka knocking it away. Up the right wing side, and it's going to be headed right back by Chinapu. On the left, Stankovic. Left wing corner, takes a bump, or gave a bump actually, and Kapka, the foul is going to be called. You know, with the way the crowd is going, John, one would have to think that Pittsburgh's going to have to be ready to maybe weather the storm early. Baltimore's going to come right for them.
Best way to get the crowd out of the game is to score a goal, or at least keep Baltimore from scoring, and establish some rhythm, some tempo yourself, and you take the crowd out of the game.
Adam Topolsky up over the midfield line. Reverses it on the left for Orhan. Now it's left for Dudek. Orhan played for the Baltimore Blast at the start of this season. Was picked up by Pittsburgh right at the trading deadline. Topolsky's pass at the red line on his own side is broken up. But we've got a foul on Lukic, a newcomer for the Baltimore Blast. He too picked up on the day of the deadline. Gino DiPolito is the senior referee for tonight's game. Julio Salas, the referee out on the field, the other referee. And the assistant referee in the box, Joe Manfrey.
And just like last night in the Civic Arena, the officials almost calling touch fouls early in the game. I'm sure that will settle down a little bit.
Ball played upfield for Child, and it went out of play. Kick in coming up for Richard Chinapu. Chinapu, one of just a handful of Baltimore players actually having a strong year. You look at Baltimore's problems and you can trace it to the decline in production of the big players. Kitson way down by at least 30 points. Same with Mike Stankovic as the ball is cleared back to David Bursic on a deflection. He'll roll it right side for Zeke Kapka. 13:50 to go. First quarter at scoreless. Z with a long pass for Child, who tries to flick it on goal, and Van Aaron is there.
Of course, you'd look at the decline in numbers. The same can be said for some of the Pittsburgh players as well. There has been an increase by people like Marcio Leite, but in general, a drastic fall-off for folks like Fred Gergerev.
On the left wing side, Chinapu in the attack zone from 40 feet. His pass was blocked. Gergerev will pick it up. His pass blocked. They'll try it again for Ingram. Almost stolen away by Stamenkovich, but now Godfrey races up the right side across midfield. 13:20 to go in a scoreless tie, first quarter. Dudek will blast from 70. It's blocked by Van Aaron. Actually, it's less than 70 because this field is shorter than most, so we'll call that 60 at the red line. Gergerev will have a free kick as Baltimore fouls.
And that is 3 fouls on Baltimore, none on the Spirit. Quick shot by Gergerev.
Topolsky sending it wide. Gergerev sending it the other way, and it deflected, and Van Aaron came up with it. That would have been a fluke, but Pittsburgh would have taken it, to say the least.
Well, Van Aaron made the dive. I don't know that he really needed to. He made it look a little more dramatic than it actually was. The ball was not going very fast when he picked it off.
That's an old NBA trick when you clear a rebound off the boards. Ernie Buriano going up the right wing side at the red line of Pittsburgh. Tim Whitman will handle it. He's had a sensational year for Baltimore. Back for Buriano in midfield. Off the left wing boards in the attack zone. Curl on the drive, and it's blocked. John O'Hara gets a piece of that. Up the near wing boards. Cleared out the other way.
You look at Baltimore, JP, and you wonder what happened. Here was a team cruising toward another MISL Eastern Division championship. Their third in a row, and all of a sudden the bottom fell out.
Ironically, right at the All-Star break, even though they had done well, Kenny Cooper told me he had sensed some problems. He was right. O'Hara bangs it off the boards into the neutral zone. It's for Gergov, knocked away to the right wing corner. Blast, looking, shooting it. It's blocked by the Pittsburgh Spirit as Buriano's drive was rejected. Now it's cleared down the length of the field.
Actually, Buriano's drive hit his own man inside.
Is congested in that area. Franz Matthew will play it up the right side. Both of these clubs lost last night. Both had to travel today, so neither team has a real advantage in that particular area. O'Hara deep in his own zone, sends it upfield for Cap, now to Leite at his own red line. Marcio looking to lead Earhart Cap. The pass is behind him, taken away. Buriano, counterattack. Blast, bringing it into the attack zone on the left wing side boards. McWilliams back to Ronson, blocked by Leite.
Good play by Marcio. He hustled back, got into the defensive zone, picked the pass off. Ronson was in a good position that time. Fortunately, Leite was there as well.
Stan Terlecki will bring it up the right side. We have not seen him in the Spirit lineup for several games. He'll take a left-footed shot and has it blocked to the near boards. Cap heading it, gets his own ball, and it hit off the post and came out. Unbelievably bad luck for Earhart Cap and the Pittsburgh Spirit.
Cap got a goal last night that was unbelievably good luck when it went off a defender, and Earhart almost made the good play that time, just got the post and it kicked out.
Well, I guess he's even for last night. Cap will send it up the right side for Leite. Marcio trying to turn it to the middle. Pulls up at the red line. Tackle, the foul by Buriano.
And that'll be 4, so the foul advantage definitely in Pittsburgh's favor. Maybe because Baltimore is trying to play real aggressive and take the game to Pittsburgh early.
That's absolutely correct. They want to come out there charging and get a lead rather than have to play catch up. Topolsky to the right wing boards for Leite. Marcio holding it, blocked by Buriano. It hops over the midfield line. Topolsky sends it back towards Cap, broken up by Billy Ronson. From England's second division, Ronson, a hard-working player. Now we've got a foul, and now they put it into play real quick for Whitman. Into the attack zone, a left-footed drive off the glass and wide. First, it's really yet to be tested in this one. Van Aaron, not that busy either. Ball played back to Adam Topolsky with 10:28 to go in the first quarter.
Keep in mind also, David Bursic hurt his thumb last night in the game. Actually hurt his thumb in the warm-up, but played anyway, and that gave you the clue that he was going to be able to play tonight, but it was bothering him a little bit.
Terlecki cutting near the penalty arc. Stan has missed the last 6 games, partially with a groin injury, and the other reason was the Spirit were winning, and Don Popovic did not want to change the lineup, and wisely so. Stan to the near boards. Inside the Baltimore red line. Terlecki, nice reverse far side. Kevin Moore heads it into the box. It'll come back outside for Cap. The shot blocked by Chinapu. Terlecki settling it. Knocked away by Mike Stankovic. Here he comes. Open man Stankovic across the one line of Pittsburgh. Stan Stankovic. Brought it in the end of the
Earhart did the best thing he could at that point because Stan Stamenkovic had a lot of room to run, and he had the other part of that tandem, Mike Stankovic, coming down the left side, and if he hadn't pulled him down, Stankovic might have had a good shot against David Bursic.
free kick. Stamenkovic just shot, and he scores right off of the free kick. Baltimore leads 1-0. I don't believe Pittsburgh expected the big man to shoot.
But shoot he did, and Stan Stamenkovic has just picked up his 37th goal of the season. It came quickly. It came after the reset, after he had been pulled down heading toward the penalty box area. They stand and cheer here in Baltimore because the Blast in this critical game have moved ahead 1-0.
It was a left-footed shot by Stamenkovic, and what it looked like was that it caught the outside of his foot, and the ball, instead of angling towards David Bursic, it angled away from him and off the far goal post. So Baltimore will take a 1-0 lead, and right before the game, Baltimore helped get this crowd up by announcing that Stamenkovic, who was saying he might retire after this season, he had already announced he will play another year, so that already got the crowd up on their feet. Baltimore with the ball in the lead, 1-0 at 5:14. Give it to Stamenkovic, 37th of the year, unassisted, right off the set piece. Now it is Orhan stealing it from Lukic, and his shot goes into the crowd. The score, Baltimore 1, Pittsburgh 0. This is Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Lays.
And we welcome back our listeners on News Radio KQV, as well as our TV viewers on KDKA television. We're glad that we could bring this game to you tonight between Baltimore and Pittsburgh, and the Baltimore Blast are leading by the score of 1-0 on a Stan Stomenkovich goal at 5:14 of the opening quarter. Keith Van Aaron will put it in play to his own defender, Bruce Savage, and now Van Aaron is ready to look downfield. Long throw. Dudek gets in the way, heads it upfield across the red line of Baltimore. Savage heads it back the other way. A Savage foul, no pun intended.
And that is number 5 against Baltimore. Let's hope that the quick goal by Stan Stomenkovich can put some life in the Pittsburgh Spirit offense. That was the problem last night against Cleveland. They simply couldn't get the ball in the net.
Child tries to leave it for Orham, but it's broken up. Chinapoo, 3-on-2. Over midfield for Stankovic, trying to get free, plays it to the left wing boards for Stomenkovich. Double team, tries to take it around to Polsky, who's going to be marking Stomenkovich tonight, and now the Spirit steal.
And Stan Stomenkovich hitting the deck as he does quite often. Nothing called.
Baltimore intercepting. Coming back is Lukic over the midfield line on the left wing side. It's 3-on-2. Chinapoo back for Lukic. It's behind him, but Stomenkovich gets it. Spins. His shot is blocked to the far boards. Chinapoo will get it back. Baltimore had a great opportunity. It goes by the boards. As Topolsky will clear it off the boards to the far side, and now it bounces into the neutral zone. But Baltimore coming back. That goal has picked them right up. Stankovic a bullet, but it's blocked by Kapka, and back up the left wing comes Paul Child. Picked up his 29th goal of the year last night in the loss to Cleveland.
And one noticeable difference in the offensive style of play. You can see that Stan Stomenkovich likes to turn, put the ball on the net, make something happen quickly. He does not hesitate.
Kapka playing it over to the far side for Child. Now to Ingram. The shot went wide. O'Hara's shot, that goes wide as well. Pittsburgh missing the target.
That's what you like to see, though. At least they're putting some shots around there and making Van Aaron think about some things. And you also look for the possibility of a rebound. Even if it doesn't kick off the board, it might kick off a defender.
Zeke Kapka going with it into the corner for Adam Topolsky. Plays it right through the crease. Paul Child tried in vain to knock that one home. Still 1-0 Baltimore.
And Paul Child had his spot right in front of the net that time.
We've got another foul called down below, but that one is going to be called on Pittsburgh, and it is their 3rd foul. Baltimore leading it 1-0 first quarter. The crowd is certainly ready for this game, and it has all the atmosphere of a playoff game, as you might expect. One team, though, the team that wins this, will go to the playoffs. The other team can get the golf clubs ready to be long off season as Stankovic brings it upfield. Right foot save for David Bursic. It was a nice one.
Nice save by David Bursic. And Stankovic showing his ability, even though his numbers are down this year. He turned it on a little bit last night for the Baltimore Blast, and he had a good shot that time on David Bursic.
Pittsburgh picks up a foul to John O'Hara. That's 4 on the Spirit. O'Hara will win the ball and plays it back now to David Bursic. He rolls it on the left side. O'Hara will pick it up, trying to run it past Ingram, and he does. But the ball will be lost along the near boards to Franz Matthew. Left wing side pass for Whitman. Gergiev trying to upset him. Now it's played across in the right wing to Matthew in the neutral zone. Back on the left side for Tim Whitman. A defender turned forward by Ken Cooper. Whitman, right-footed shot right at David Bursic. But Baltimore are really taking it to Pittsburgh, thinking a lot about the offensive style. They're not playing tentative, to say the very least. Ingram's pass the other way, blocked by Billy Ronson. Turns it back upfield, bad pass. McKenzie knocks it away to Ingram on the right wing. Across the red line of Baltimore. Godfrey, 25 feet away. Cuts right, nice couple of cuts, but he's blocked by Matthew. And up the left side comes McWilliams across his own red. Over midfield, Dave McWilliams, the team captain, finds Franz Matthew. He'll try to reverse it off the boards. Ronson all the way to the near side. For McWilliams, the give and go blocked, and it comes all the way out to Gergiev across his own red. Over midfield, he's by himself, 1 against 3. Gergiev trying to split that defense, but he's broken up, and Matthew.
I think also Freddie hoping he could draw that 6th foul by taking the ball all the way in, because he had no help at all that time.
Pittsburgh trying to change up there in the fly, and they've got Leite and Klinczarski on to join Gergiev right now. Oriana with the ball, plays it across on the left wing side. Stankovic in front of the Baltimore bench. The Blast lead 1-0, 5:49 to go. Pretty fast-paced opening quarter. Ball cleared back to the Blast red line. Matthew is there.
The ball has stayed in play. There have not been that many fouls called, at least lengthy fouls. There have been very few delays. The 1 goal, and that's about it.
Buriano plays it up in the penalty arc. It's deflected to McWilliams. Nice move. Off the boards, wants Lukic. Blocked. Taken down by O'Hara. No foul is called, so the fouls stay the way they are. At the left point, it's kept alive now. Stankovic forced into the neutral zone by Leite. A 1-0 Baltimore lead if you're joining us late. Blast scoring on a set piece. Stamenkovic fooling everyone by shooting it rather than passing. On the right side, Leite brings it over the midfield line, across the Baltimore line. Full stride, a big shot, but it goes into the crowd out of play. Baltimore leads 1-0 over Pittsburgh. This is Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Why am I doing this again?
KDKA Radio's John Cigna is...
I'm John Paul Della Camera, along with John Sanders. The Pittsburgh Spirit are trailing by the score of 1-0, but they did have at least one good chance, John.
Indeed they did. Adam Topolsky, a little while earlier, took the ball into the corner, waited for it to come off the board, then he crossed it right in front, and Paul Child was standing right in the crease, and Child not able to get his foot on it. That was about as close as they had. They did have one other shot by Earhart Kapp there in the first 10 minutes of play that caromed off the post and kicked away, but Stamenkovic with the only goal, and he did fool everybody, probably including David Bursic. Might have fooled himself a little bit. I think you described it correctly. The ball came off his foot in a slicing fashion rather than the way it would normally carry, and it just beat David Bursic.
Instead of hugging inside, it went outside. Van Aaron with a long toss upfield on the left wing. Tim Whitman. Remember the fouls. 5 on Baltimore, 4 on Pittsburgh. The ball knocked back into the Baltimore end. This field is a good 20 feet or more. Shorter. Kapp collides with Van Aaron.
Nothing called, though.
No. I think they're going to say that Van Aaron may have tried to influence that one a little bit, or incidental contact or whatever, but they're not going to make the call, and Stankovic will bring it back up.
What we're playing for here is a spot in the playoffs, and you can make your reservations, plans for tickets by calling tonight. We'll give you the number as we go along.
Off the boards, it almost beats David Bursic on a Stankovic shot. That's right. I forgot that we're selling tickets here tonight, right?
Indeed, we are. It's 642-2067. Operators on duty tonight, also tomorrow. 642-2067 for reservations, more information for potential playoffs. Of course, we've still got some work to do here tonight.
That's right. You've got nothing to lose if you order your tickets now. Obviously, if the Spirit don't make the playoffs, you're not going to lose the investment. If they win it here tonight, you'll get some good seats for an upcoming playoff game against either Cleveland or Minnesota, as Chinnipo brings it back over midfield. Across the attack line.
Now Kevin Marr makes his move. He waited and waited, finally went in. The call goes against Cleveland, and that will be 6. Will be in a penalty situation.
Well, Richard Chinnipo is a man that was going to be called on the foul as he was trying to beat Kevin Marr. Marr got a foot on the ball, and then what they're going to say is that Chinnipo dragged that right foot and knocked Kevin Marr down. The crowd booing that, but they booed every foul on Baltimore. Right now, we'll take it to a break. The score, Baltimore 1, Pittsburgh 0. This is Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Baltimore, Maryland. A little earlier, Earhart Kapp bumping Von Aaron, the goalkeeper. Nothing called. The foul came after against Baltimore, and so the Spirit, John Paul, in the power play.
And let's see what they can do with it. Their power play is slumped. They used to be number 1 in the league. Now they're number 8. Ingram passing to Terlecki, who is back on the power play unit. Godfrey slipping by Whitman. 25 feet away now to the corner for Child. Back for Godfrey on the right side. The rest of the power play unit remains intact to the way it's been going all season. And now as the Spirit lose the ball, Terlecki has to recover in the neutral zone, and he starts right back.
And 30 seconds go off the penalty clock.
Stan had scored at least a point in 11 of 12 games before his groin injury, so he was hot scoring-wise until the injury. Dudek on the left wing takes the shot, blocked by Baltimore. Stankovic will get it after Buriano made the block. Mike Stankovic with a good strides up the left wing side of the field, brings it across the Spirit line where he loses it. A minute 13 on the Pittsburgh man advantage. Less than 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Baltimore leads 1-0 on a Stamenkovic score. Helmut Dudek on the left point. Now to Leite. Marcio coming in a few strides, holds it from about 45 feet to the left wing boards for Dudek, back out for Leite. Marcio stopping, he's got Stankovic on him, plays into the corner for Dudek. Couldn't handle the ball as he got a high pass, and Buriano knocked it away. Pittsburgh will put it back in play on the kick-in. Dave McWilliams is sitting out this penalty for Baltimore. He is the Blast team captain. And remember, when you have 6 fouls, you can designate whomever you want to sit it out. And all coaches pick an offensive player because you want them to come right out there and help the offense. You see a lot of breakaways resulting. right after the penalty has expired. Terlecki now from 30 feet. Blocked by a couple of Blast players. Played into the box. Van Aren got it before Paul Child did. It would have been difficult for Child because that ball was bouncing on him. And Van Aren tosses it upfield for Whitman, who has a couple of shorthanded goals. He takes a bump from Ingram. John, that's 5 fouls on Pittsburgh.
And still 2:20 left here in the first quarter, so the Spirit in a dangerous situation as well. And that time Godfrey went over to the boards, tried to cut the man off, but he went for the body rather than the ball, and that's where he got into a problem. The ball was kicking along the boards. Ingram came in, tried to cut him off, got the man, and also got the foul, so that's 5.
Baltimore with the ball. Stankovic from the far boards. His team is shorthanded. Plays it off the boards for Whitman. Back for Stankovic. Double team. Tries to get it by Leite. He tried to draw that 6th foul, actually. Now in the left wing corner, Whitman. Winning it against 2 members of the Spirit. Whitman, great bit of dribbling. And now Ingram wins the ball back, but Whitman killed off about 10 valuable seconds right there.
So now we have just over 10 seconds left on the penalty.
So one more try for Pittsburgh with a man advantage. Dudek from 55 feet out to Leite at the left point for Ingram. Right side, Terlecki. His shot blocked into the crowd by Buriano. Pittsburgh will have a free kick, and they better take a look around and look at that clock, because in 1 second, Baltimore will get a man back. So even a bad deflection here, if that ball comes out near the neutral zone, McWilliams could be off to the races.
And McWilliams, of course, is going to come out near midfield. So Dave will be on the move when that ball comes loose.
Pittsburgh has to know that, especially when there's a whistle. You should automatically look up and see how much time is left when you've got that advantage, even if you don't have the advantage. Leite to Dudek for Child, and it hit off the goalpost. Child had it right behind Van Aren. Bad luck for Pittsburgh. Ball cleared deep into the Spirit zone, and Bursic will clear it out. I'm amazed that that ball didn't go in.
It was very, very close. Second post that the Spirit had hit here in the first 13 and a half minutes of this opening period, and Bursic went out to clear the ball, cleared it up into the stands. The fans thought it should have been delay of game, but actually David just mishit the ball.
Baltimore will have a free kick. 1:36 to go, first quarter. The Blast leading over Pittsburgh 1-0. Van Aren a little bit lucky so far. That last one, I'm not quite sure if Child got a piece or not, but he was behind Van Aren. Either the shot itself hit the post or Child did on that kick. Quick whistle off the restart. So they're going to do it again. And right now, Gino DiPolito is over talking with Joe Manfrey, the alternate referee in the box. You don't know if they've spotted anything or if it was a clock malfunction. But they're talking it over right now with 1:36 to go.
Well, you knew play had been stopped because Van Aren had come all the way almost to the referee's area. He was completely out of the net.
We're going to try to keep you updated tonight on other games around the MISL. The big one really is Cleveland home against Minnesota, where a record crowd may be set tonight. Cleveland may break their own record. They had over 17,000 seats sold going into last night. Franz Matthew now, right side of the neutral zone with 1:24 left in the first quarter, and the Blast up 1-0. Matthew holding it. Takes it to the near boards, in deeper. Sends it around the boards, but Bursic is right there.
David was in a good position no matter which way the ball went that time. He had it cut off around the boards and was also cutting down the angle on Matthew.
O'Hara plays it to Orhan. Kapka now on the right side for Topolsky in the neutral zone. Deep into the right wing corner of the Blast zone for Z. Kapka. He and Buriano are there. Z turning, looking for some help. Pittsburgh still with those 5 fouls. Orhan right back to Topolsky at the midfield line. Now on the left wing boards for O'Hara. Knocking it ahead. Trying for Gergiev. They're going to call that foul on Gergiev. That's 6. 6 fouls on Gergiev. Van Aren is over talking to Julio Salas to say, give him a couple of minutes. And John O'Hara questioning the call.
Well, the ball came off the foot of O'Hara down the boards into the corner. It looked like Gergiev had the advantage, and he was behind Matthew. We couldn't really tell from this angle exactly what the call was. The Spirit, of course, do not agree because it looked like Gergiev had his body in the right position, but it doesn't make any difference because referee Salas saw it the other way. We'll have a Spirit player in the penalty box for the last 49 seconds of the first quarter and for the first 1:11 of the second quarter.
Well, it looked harmless from up here, but we're way up. I mean, this is really the worst broadcast location in the MISL. Not only are you high up, but you're steep. You're way in the back, so there's not a lot of great perception from this level. Stan Stamenkovic at midfield. When you say Stamenkovic looks like an ant, you know you're high up.
Yeah, but he's a large
big ant, right. Thank you. Stankovic cuts it back for Stamenkovic with the only goal thus far. Blocked by Kevin Marr for Ingram. Godfrey in the neutral zone. Brings it upfield looking for Morrow. Had 2 shorthanded goals a year ago. Kevin now wants to kill some time. Plays it all the way back to McKenzie at the Spirit red line. Looking for Marr. Block Chinapoo fouled it.
That was an obvious foul on Chinapoo that time as he simply blocked Kevin Marr into the boards to get the ball. You can't do that. If you're going for the ball, fine, but you can't go for the man.
Dave McKenzie will put it in play. 18 seconds to go in the quarter. 1-0 Baltimore. Long ball for Ingram. Blocked. Marr heading into the box. Tries it again. Blocked. Tries to leave it and does. Ingram, great move. The shot just off the post a little bit.
Just missed to the left side. That's 3 very close shots the Spirit have had in the first quarter, and it looked like they might pick up a kind of a freakish goal at the end of this quarter.
And the horn sounds, but I'll tell you what, Kevin Marr with a great effort to set Godfrey Ingram up. But the Pittsburgh Spirit don't have any luck. They come up empty in the first quarter. When the second quarter begins and John Sanders takes you through it, the Spirit will still be a man down. Baltimore leads 1-0 after 1. This is Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
When you have an IRA question, Mellon is your answer.
Rolling into the playoffs, group rates, individual tickets, playoff packages are available now by calling 642-2067. We mean call right now because the Spirit staff is on duty right now, standing by for reservations and to give you more information. That's 642-2067. The Spirit almost cashing in right at the end of the first quarter of play when they were shorthanded. Credit Kevin Marr. He kept the ball alive. Godfrey Ingram came in to give him some help at the end, and Godfrey moved it from his right foot back onto his right foot and just missed to the left side.
Let's tell you who our goal-getter contestants are this quarter, John. Ann Horniak has chosen Paul Child. That's worth $200 in Giant Eagle groceries. Our first contestant, Irvin Hewlings, is not a winner in terms of the contest, but he'll receive a nice consolation prize from Armor Meats. And now here to take you to the second quarter of play is John Sanders.
And the shots were even at 7 apiece, saves even at 2 apiece in that first 15 minutes of play. Mike Stankovic has the ball at midfield. Just underway second quarter, the Blast leading 1-0 here in the Civic Center in Baltimore, Maryland. The Pittsburgh Spirit only 2-10 in this building. They've had their problems. Stankovic takes it in. Ingram picks him up. Give and go with Stan Stomenkovic, and Stankovic gets it back. Earhart cap on him. They bring it back out now to Richard Chinapoo. Chinapoo's drive is knocked down by Kevin Marr, but Stankovic gets it back as they keep it inside the Pittsburgh red line. Move it in the corner. Whitman with a turning shot, bounces in front. Pittsburgh wanted a handball call, and they got it. Right in front, the handball call came against the Baltimore Blast.
David Bursich wanted to make sure that Julio Salas saw it. There was no question there in his mind as Timmy Whitman took the initial shot. Came very close to beating David Bursich near that short side, but as Mark Curlin settled it down, he really had an advantage. It did not hit him accidentally. If it hits him accidentally, fine, but when you're using your hand to play it to an advantage, it's going to be called.
14:21 remaining now in the first half, and a penalty has been called against Mark Curlin.
Well, they're going to call it a deliberate handball, apparently.
Which will be a 2-minute penalty. So with still 32 seconds left on the power play, the Baltimore Blast lose the man advantage because of the handball call. And it came right in front, right on the doorstep of David Bursich. Julio Salas made the call. So the Pittsburgh Spirit and the Baltimore Blast will be even at 4 attackers aside right now for another 25 seconds. Then the Spirit will have their second man advantage situation of the first half.
Yeah, and that'll open things up with 4 aside.
Tencharski was caught by Baltimore Blast on the bench. So it goes over to Baltimore right at midfield. We have played less than a minute in the second quarter. 1-0. The Blast leading on the goal by Stan Stomenkovic. Richard Chinapoo in the corner. McKenzie cuts him off, and then Chinapoo knocks McKenzie down. And the call goes against Chinapoo. Well, that's the first foul of the second quarter against Baltimore. McKenzie, Klincharski, Godfrey Ingram on right now, along with Helmut Dudek. The Spirit controlling inside their own red line. Godfrey Ingram starts back at midfield. Baltimore defense falls back now because Pittsburgh goes into the power play. Marcio Leite comes on. Spirit have the man advantage for another minute and 12 seconds. Their first power play attempt netted nothing. Now Paul Child returns as well. Right now Fred Gergerev is on. He's playing out there on the power play. Stan Terlecki is not on this time. Ingram chipping it for Dudek. He heads it in the box. It's knocked away by Van Aaron. Now it is is picked up by the Pittsburgh Spirit. Gergerev gets it back to Ingram. His drive is blocked by Stankovic, picked up by Helmut Dudek on the far side. Right at the red line, it's Marcio Leite. Marcio loses to Whitman, who clears it past midfield. 13 minutes left in the first half. And Godfrey Ingram at midfield will start back for Pittsburgh. The second power play opportunity for the Spirit. There's a drive knocked down by Van Aaron. The shot was taken by Dudek from the far corner. And back to midfield for Godfrey Ingram once again. Will set up the power play. Moves it along the near boards. Gergerev blocked partially out in front by Bruce Savage and then cleared back to midfield once again. Baltimore successfully killing off about 70% of the penalties. Now Marcio Leite. Marked there by Tim Whitman. Marcio takes it in. Dudek in the corner. Savage over to cut him off. Whitman trying to clear. Can't. Marcio Leite. The penalty is over. Back on is Mark Perlin. So the teams are even now. And the foul is called again against Baltimore. 2 fouls on Baltimore. The Pittsburgh Spirit down by a goal. It's 1-0 here with 12:13 left in the first half.
Dudek had a great shift. He tried to head a ball to Paul Child, who was open. It was not a shot by Helmut, but a pass. But he's been very aggressive of late. Last night, John, he had better than a third of the entire Spirit shots. He had 10 out of the 29 shots taken by the team.
Well, maybe part of the problem offensively is the fact that so many of the shots are being taken by defenders. Child with a chance goes underneath Van Aaron as the shot is over his head. Now it rockets down to the other end. It'll be a 3-line violation. 12:03 to play in the first half. Baltimore 1, Pittsburgh 0. This is Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
You know, supermarket weekly specials don't...
Civic Center. Now it's loosed in front. Knocked away by Gergerev. Perlin picks it off. And the blast control. Tim Whitman starts to run up the near side. He has Buriano on his left, fakes the shot, now drives one. Bursic makes the save, tips it up over the glass.
I'll tell you, that's a great shot by Timmy Whitman. He makes a great fake, and normally he will shoot with his right foot. He dekes McKenzie, has McKenzie going to the right, stepped over the ball, went back to his left, and took a wicked drive, but Bursic was right there, and he followed the flight of the ball all the way through to the finish.
And Ernie Buriano was in there trying to screen and help him, but Bursic was able to see it now. Stan Stamenkovic will put it in play in the near corner. Stamenkovic scored his goal on the set play, but it was out near the point of the box rather than in the corner.
He's dangerous from here as well, even though he's deep in the corner because he's such a great passer.
Off the board, it's knocked down by Topolsky. Adam clears it beyond the red line. It's brought all the way back to Van Aaron. Terlecki on now for the Pittsburgh Spirit. At midfield, the blast control. Richard Chinapoo will bring it up. At the Pittsburgh red line, some room. A drive from outside, knocked away by Kapka. On the far side, Topolsky cannot clear. Stamenkovic rolls it in. He really controls it. The magician tries the backfield. Chinapoo is there, but it is knocked away by Yilmaz Orhan, and Orhan is called for a foul. First foul on Pittsburgh.
I'd say if Chinapoo had followed up and backed up Stamenkovic, he's got a chance to walk in with it because Stamenkovic played it back, but Chinapoo never advanced. He was thinking a little too much defensively.
This is about the spot at which he scored earlier. That was driven out of play with 10:52 remaining in the first half, so the Spirit will put it in. David Bursic when we come back.
You don't see many empty seats here in this building, and most people are rooting for Baltimore, but there's quite a few people here from the Pittsburgh Spirit Booster Club, some people from all different areas in Pittsburgh. They're sitting actually behind David Bursic, and they're probably too high up for us to get a good shot at him, but they'll be making their presence felt as best they can here tonight.
There is some black and gold there right behind David Bursic, who puts it in play now with a goal kick. Less than 11 minutes left in the first half. Blast 1, Spirit 0. Playoffs at stake. The winner will continue. The loser, well, that's it for the season. Right in midfield, Kapka comes up with it to Terlecki. Stan brings it back to the middle. Now looking for Yilmaz Orhan on the far side. Orhan. He's double teamed. Whitman takes it away. He had some help from Franz Matthew that time. Long lead ball looking for McWilliams. Johnny O'Hara is there instead. Now it's loose in front. O'Hara finally gets it back to Bursic, who loses, but is picked up by McKenzie. Bursic is down, and he's slow to get up. He may have hurt his hand again. He's holding it. We'll see what happens. Orhan in the corner, and it is knocked in. Pittsburgh has tied the game. The goal will be credited to Z. Kapka, but I think it went off a blast defender and into the net. Doesn't matter. At 10-10, the Spirit have tied the game.
Looked like it went to Buriano. David Bursic is holding on to his left hand. That is the hand that he injured last night. David David Bursic made the first move as Johnny O'Hara was coming back on Billy Ronson. The ball was played back to Bursic. He juggled it for a second. Ronson kind of hit him. There was a collision there, and then Bursic lost the ball, helped to move it upfield, and then Pittsburgh scores to tie it up. And the goal will more than likely go to Kapka. Orhan fought hard to win it, knocked it off the boards. Hey, well, Buriano was right there along with Kapka. Z might have gotten his foot on it. It looked like, when I saw it originally, that it went off a Baltimore player.
So we come back to live action now. Loose at midfield, 9:57 to play. That's the first point for Orhan in a Pittsburgh uniform. It's his 4th assist of the season. Chinapoo and open on the far side. Stamenkovic turning, shooting, he missed. Stan Stamenkovic had a lot of room, JP. You can't give him that much room, and that spot on the field, he simply missed the shot.
He had too much room, and he'd love to get another crack at that ball if he could. That's the last guy in Baltimore that you'd like to see open. Not because he's got the best shot. Actually, a guy like Stankovic probably would have been the guy to bury it right there, but because Stamenkovic can do so much. He can dig the goaltender right out of position, and he can spend as much time as he wants to hold on to that ball, and you're basically at his mercy.
Kapka picking up his 11th goal of the season to tie the game at 1-1. It came 4 minutes and 50 seconds into this second quarter. So, Coach Don Popovic and the Pittsburgh Spirit get even.
And if Pittsburgh can win this game, they advance to the playoffs. We don't know what's going to happen. There's still a lot more soccer to go. But if you'd like to order your playoff tickets right now, we have operators standing by. Call them now, 642-2067.
Chinapoo cuts the ball off. The pass intended for Gergiev. Now Fred gets it back. And Nicky Klincharski with some room on the far side. He'll be picked up there by Savage. Banged into the corner. The call goes against Savage. That's foul number 3 on the Baltimore Blast. They had 6 in the first quarter. Quickly headed away by Chinapoo, and now knocked out of there by Lukic. But the Spirit keeping the pressure on right at the red line. A big collision between Lukic and Klincharski, and the call goes against Nicky Klincharski.
Well, Don Popovic says, what happened there? What's the call? And they call it the other way on Pittsburgh. As Lukic tried to get by Klincharski, Nicky didn't give him any room on those boards, and that's the reason why the foul is called that way. Pittsburgh 2 fouls, and Baltimore with 3.
And we have 9 minutes and 12 seconds left in the first half of play. Baltimore controlling right at midfield. Stamenkovic goes to Stankovic. Stankovic works it down the left side. Fakes a left-footed shot. Now a drive off the board in front. Riding for the rebound is Chinapoo. It's still loose in front. Now cleared by Godfrey Ingram. Again, the ball kicking away from David Bursic, giving Baltimore a second, actually a third chance that time.
That ball was loose, but Lukic just basically overran it, took himself out of the play.
David is obviously having a problem because when the ball comes to him, he's really scooping it. He's not grabbing it. Now the Spirit trying to move it into Gergiev. It's knocked away. Chinapoo now. Now it's Godfrey Ingram who wins the ball. Ingram has it again. It is near the Baltimore red line. Kevin Marr out of midfield to Earhart Cap. Cap looking for Godfrey Ingram. Ingram marked that time by Bruce Savage. Now they go to Gergiev in the corner. Gergiev with his back to the goal. Works it back to Kevin Marr. The Spirit taking their time. Now Stankovic breaks it up. He's got Stamenkovic on the right. Savage on the left. Stamenkovic working it in. Now crossing. Still controlling. Trying to turn and shoot. He's knocked down, and Spirit win the ball. Kevin Marr, but he cannot clear. The Baltimore Blast control. Savage in the corner. Marked by Ingram. Back it comes in the middle. Stamenkovic turning. Tried to backheel that time, did not get it through. Comes back out to Stankovic, and now it's knocked away by Earhart Cap all the way back to the Baltimore red line. 7:45 left in the first half. It's a 1-1 game.
Stamenkovic really working hard out there, but Adam Topolsky trying to do his best to stick with him. That's his assignment for the night.
Fred Gergiev now takes over for Pittsburgh to Earhart Cap. Marcio Leite returns along with Adam Topolsky. He'll pick it up down the right side. Adam drives one in the corner. Van Aaron with a right hand out to make the save. Looking for Leite. Matthew just a dummy run on the ball. It goes back to the keeper, Van Aaron. Coming the other way is Ernie Buriano. Franz Matthew. Now they bring it all the way back to midfield where Tim Whitman is back on. Paul Child picks him up. Scramble in the corner. The ball comes around to David Bursic, but a foul had been called on the Pittsburgh Spirit. So that's 3-3 on the fouls. That call went against Z Kapka. Z is the one who has the goal for Pittsburgh. headed away in front. The Spirit trying to take over. Marcio Leite getting a battle there from Billy Ronson, but the Spirit win the ball at their own red line. Now it comes to Kapka. A drive almost in front was Paul Child. Following up Leite, and it's knocked out of play by Van Aaron. On the play, Whitman was hurt. We'll check out his injury when we come back. It's 1-1 here in Baltimore on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
People in Allegheny and Westmoreland.
Here in Baltimore, the Civic Center. They've had some other opportunities. Z. Kapka, in the middle of things, he scored the goal and set up the play, diving out to make a right-hand save. Just a moment ago was Van Aaron. He knocked it free, and on the play, Tim Whitman, number 17, went down, and John Paul, he limped off the field.
His loss would be a tough one for Baltimore, but the 22-year-old is right back out in the field, and it would take some kind of an injury to knock him out of the lineup. Nobody wants to sit this game out. This could be, and will be actually, the last game of this season for one of these two clubs.
And one of these clubs will finish at even 500. Coach Don Popovic hopes it's his team and that they'll get a chance as the playoffs continue in the MISL. 6:44 left in the first half. Baltimore did not have enough players on the field, so quickly they get another body out there as Ernie Buriano returns. Buriano was on the bench, didn't know he was supposed to be out there. So the Spirit will put it in play. Marcio Leite taking the feed from Kapka. It comes back out now to Helmut Dudek, marked by Whitman right at the red line. Looking for Child. Child back to Helmut Dudek near midfield. Now Marcio Leite. Marked from behind by Franz Matthew, and the Spirit have to take it all the way back to their own red line, and finally all the way back to David Bursich. David will take it with his feet, not his hands. He did a lot of that last night, and I think the hand is bothering him. Kapka. Intercepted. Buriano. He's run off at the Pittsburgh red line. Still the Blast controlling. Buriano trying to work it in. Cannot. Back comes Kapka. He's got Child on his left as he takes it down the right side. Still with it. Out comes Van Aaron to clear it away. But McKenzie trying to pick it up for the Spirit. He goes over the glass and out of play off the foot of Ernie Buriano.
Seeing Kapka run down that right wing as hard as he just did, and the fact that he had scored a goal prior to that makes me remember the last time the Spirit won a game in his building back in the 1984 season when Kapka scored 3 times. He played that night like a man possessed, and Pittsburgh's hoping he'll do the same this evening.
An excellent run up that right side, and that's 2 or 3 for Z. Kapka in the game tonight. Spirit have tied it, and Kapka has the goal. Kapka and Stomenkovic with the goals tonight were even at 1-1 with 9:59 remaining in the first half.
We invite you to stick around at halftime. We'll be chatting with Chris Wright, general manager of the Pittsburgh Spirit, and get some of his views about not only this game but about the season as well.
And we will also show you some of the games earlier in this very tough and intense rivalry between Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Topolsky battling in the corner with Stan Stomenkovic. Brings it back out. But Klimcharski can't come up with it. Chinapu does. Chinapu against Klimcharski across the Pittsburgh red line. Drives it with the right foot, and a right-hand save that time by David Bursich. Through a screen, he kept the ball low, and it made it tough for Bursich, but David was able to make the save. Terlecki goes on the far side to Helmut Dudek. It's taken away from him. Lukic can't control. Stankovic does. Baltimore with it. 9 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first half. Now, Stomenkovic against Topolsky. You'll see them together all night. A spinning move that time by Stomenkovic. Back to Stankovic to see if he shoots. He cannot control, so he doesn't. Now he brings it back. Does shoot. It's knocked away in front. Ingram got a piece of it. Bursich comes up with the ball, and he'll set the offense in motion. However, Chinapu is there for Baltimore. Back come the Blast. Chinapu down the near side. Walks it in. Shoots. He missed to the left side. It kicks all the way back to the red line. Stankovic takes over 4:50. That scoreboard clock fooled me. I thought it was a 9. It was a 5. So we actually have only 4:45 left in the first half. I thought it was a long quarter. Right at the red line, Mike Stankovic brings it all the way back to midfield now, where Ernie Buriano takes over, and now it's the Blast who must retreat back to Savage. Ingram will pick him up. Now Stan Terlecki comes up to help out as Mike Stankovic takes over and tries to move it back to midfield.
Pittsburgh using high pressure for the first time, and they still.
3-on-3. Tackled away by Buriano as he took it away from Helmut Dudek at midfield. Stankovic. Now some room for Buriano. He shoots. A save by Bursich.
That's a great save. I'm not sure what was better, the save Bursich made or the pass that Stomenkovic gave to send Ernie Buriano off to the races.
Now Terlecki cuts away from Stamenkovic still controlling. Yilmaz Orhan, the former Baltimore Blast. Now Johnny O'Hara is there. O'Hara will reverse it. Topolsky with some room and a drive. It's knocked away. For the Blast come up with the block. And Topolsky takes the ball. Brings it back to Earhart Cap. 3:38 left in the first half. Orhan. Terlecki in traffic. Gets it back. Stan against Mike Stankovic. A shot and a left-hand save by Van Aaron. Good quick shot that time by Stan Terlecki.
Very deceptive shot. He actually disguised it rather well. And Keith Van Aaron wants to call a timeout right here with a score tied up.
It is 1-1. 3:19 to play in the first half on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
People are turning to caffeine-free diet.
We welcome our listeners on News Radio 15 News Radio KQV. I know I wasn't supposed to say that, and KDK Television earlier. Stan Stamenkovic sent Ernie Buriano off to the races on a great pass, but David Bursic stayed right in the middle, would not give Buriano any ground. He cut his angles as best he could and made really what has to be the save of the night and kept momentum the way it is. Otherwise, right there, Baltimore takes a big 1-goal lead.
And during the timeout, Coach Don Popovic encouraging his troops. The Spirit have hung in there well against this big crowd here tonight, and capacity is 12,453. I'm sure, John Paul, they're very near a sellout here. They've probably got around 12,000 or so in the building. It is a playoff atmosphere because the winner is in the playoffs. The loser is done for the year. McWilliams controlling for Baltimore, brings it back to midfield. We have 3 minutes and 3 seconds left in the first half, and Whitman loses to McKenzie at the Pittsburgh red line. Orhan looking for Terlecki. It's intercepted that time by Billy Ronson. Now Ronson and Orhan at the red line. Terlecki picked up by 2 men, but he controls McWilliams and Ronson on him right at midfield. Stan still has it. Now he clears it to Johnny O'Hara on the near side, right at midfield. O'Hara now down the right side. Earhart Cap with a little room. He uses the boards in front. Orhan looking for a rebound. It kicks to Von Aaron. Von Aaron trying to get his team to run a little bit. Ronson will right at midfield. Goes to McWilliams. McWilliams looking for Ronson off the board. Ronson is knocked down by Earhart Cap, and the foul goes against Earhart. That's 4 on Pittsburgh, 3 on Baltimore, and still 2:28 to play. And some words exchanged now between Ronson and Earhart Cap.
Well, even though it's indoor soccer and it's a bit rough, Ronson's used to the rough stuff because they do play it pretty physical over in England, and that's where he has come from to join the Blast.
The set play, it goes right in front off the foot of McWilliams. He really miskicked the ball. Spirit bring it back. Crossing pass is intercepted by the Blast. Franz Matthew with it right at midfield. He's got Ronson on one side, McWilliams on the other. Takes it into the right. A shot at leg saved by Bursic, and it's knocked in by Ronson. 2-1. The Baltimore Blast take the lead.
Well, Billy Ronson, John, did what he's supposed to do. He's on a run to goal and keep running. Cause some confusion with the goalkeeper. If the ball is knocked loose and it touches any part of you, it's going to go in. As Matthew brought it in, actually got off a nice shot. Bursic got a right foot on it, but Ronson was coming through, and David even reached back and had a piece of it, but not full possession. If he had full possession, they would not call it a goal. I think that's why David was looking around at the end of that play. But it's Ronson from Matthew, and Baltimore takes a 2-1 lead.
And the newcomer, Billy Ronson, gets his 3rd goal since joining the Baltimore Blast. It is 2-1. Pittsburgh leading, or rather Baltimore leading Pittsburgh. At the other end now, Marcio Leite trying to stir things up. Foul called against Baltimore. The fouls are even now at 4 apiece. 2-1, the Blast leading the Pittsburgh Spirit. McKenzie will key the play. On the near boards, it goes into the corner. Scramble, comes all the way back outside the Baltimore red line to midfield. That foul was called on Pittsburgh, so that's 5 now on the Spirit with less than 2 minutes to play in the first half. 1:59 to go. Van Aaron takes it for Baltimore. Tries to get the offense going at midfield. Blast controlling. Now it's picked off by Kapka. Gets it back from Gergarev. And Kapka on a run down the far side in the corner. Stops. He's double teamed. Buriano tries to take it from him. Can't. With it now is Marcio Leite. Marked by Whitman. He gets a piece of it. Marcio retreats to midfield. Now back to McKenzie. McKenzie along the near boards. Cuts back to the middle. Goes to John O'Hara at midfield on the far side. 1:29 to play first half. 2-1. The Blast leading the Spirit. Gergarev heads it in the corner to Kapka. He settles with his back to the goal now. In the near corner, brings it back to the red line. Gergarev takes over. Nobody there. He was feeding Kapka, and Kapka did not run, so the Blast take over. Van Aaron has it. moves to his left where Mike Stankovic has it. 1 minute and 5 seconds to go. Stan Stamenkovic takes over at midfield. Knocked away by McKenzie.
Baltimore should really go after him and get that 6th foul.
Richard Chinapoo to Stan Stamenkovic with McKenzie on him. A shot. It's knocked down. A bicycle kick attempt by Whitman fails. It goes into the far corner, and a foul is going to be called against Chinapoo. 5-5 on the fouls. 44 seconds left first half. Almost a great effort by Baltimore that time, JP.
Bursic saves the day right there to keep it a 1-goal Baltimore margin.
Each team now with 5 fouls. Scoreboard says 2 for Baltimore, 1 for Pittsburgh. Bursic all the way down, but Chinapoo is there ahead of Fred Gergerev and Van Aaron. With 25 seconds left in the first half, they distribute the ball to Mike Stankovic. Marcio Leite can't beat him. Stankovic on a run now inside the red line. His shot in front, an easy roll that time for David Bursic. I'm not sure if Stankovic was looking for somebody to cut through the box or not, but it didn't happen.
He wanted Lukic to move for the ball. They had a communication problem.
7 seconds, a chance for Gergerev. In front to Klintarski, a save by Van Aaron. And that's it. The Spirit had the last attempt of the first half. They come up. We have played the first 30 minutes here in Baltimore. It's 2-1. The Blast lead the Spirit on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. John Paul Della Camera, if you wanted playoff action and end-to-end type action, we've had it, JP, in the first 30 minutes.
Well, Baltimore leads by the score of 2-1, but it could be 3-2, it could be 2-0, it could be 1-0 the way this game has gone. It's been a close one, but really the goalkeepers have done their part, I feel, to keep the score as low as it is.
Indeed they have, and each team has had some chances, and of course in the center of it for Baltimore is Stan Stamenkovic. He just is really tough when he gets the ball. McKenzie couldn't take it from him there late in the first half. The shot gets through, and right in front, a bicycle kick attempt by Whitman went off the left hand of Bursic, and he had to go after it twice to finally bat it out of there and clear the ball away from in front of the net. So a good effort by David Bursic, even though I know he's hurting. That thumb's got to be bothering him.
Oh, it has to be bothering him, and much more than he will let on, I'm sure. But David was inspired, or he probably inspired Van Aaron up the other end of the field, because right after David Bursic had made what appeared to be the best save of that quarter, the Pittsburgh Spirit were to come back right downfield, the entire length of the field, and with players like Freddie Gergerev and Nicky Klintarski working as hard as they could, Keith Van Aaron had to do all that he could to come up and make a play. After Leite had fired it across the field for Gergerev, Klintarski broke towards the box, got the feed, and Van Aaron made the save to keep it as close as it is right now.
It's close on the scoreboard at 2-1, and most of the other stats are close as well. The Blast have outshot the Spirit 20-17 in the first 30 minutes of play. In saves, Bursic has made 9, Van Aaron has made 8, so it's just about as even as it can be at halftime here in Baltimore, Maryland. Our score, the Blast 2, the Spirit 1. John Paul Della Camera and I will be back after this on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. This has been one of the top rivalries in the history of the major indoor soccer league, the Baltimore Blast and the Pittsburgh Spirit. Over the last 3 seasons, the teams have met 16 times. Each has won 8. The 1985-86 season is no different. It was the second game of the year. 3 fourth-quarter goals, 2 of them by Paul Kitson, gave the Blast a 5-2 win here in Baltimore. 2 weeks later, once again here in the Civic Center, the Spirit jumped out to a 3-1 halftime lead. Only to have the Blast come back, and Paul Kitson tied the game with 10 seconds left in regulation. In the overtime, it was Ernie Buriano's goal that won it for Baltimore, the Blast 5, the Spirit 4. The Blast came to the Civic Arena on December the 7th and were promptly booted around, losing 7-3. Veteran Fred Gergerev scored 2 goals, and newcomer Godfrey Ingram added 2 more. The 2 teams would not meet again for over 2 months, but when they did, the Spirit were ready. Marcio Leite's fourth-quarter goal put the Spirit ahead for good, and Pittsburgh went on to win 6-4. Then just last Tuesday, in a must-win situation, the Spirit spotted the Blast's 2 first-period goals, but in dramatic style came back to tie on Adam Topolsky's goal and go ahead on Paul Child's deflection. The Spirit kept the season alive with a 5-4 victory over the Baltimore Blast. What a series it has been. And the winner tonight will say what a season it has been, because the playoffs will be ahead for that team. The other is through for the 1985-86 season. We'll continue here at halftime. John Paul Della Camera will be downstairs with the general manager of the Pittsburgh Spirit, Chris Wright, and we'll talk to him when we come back to Baltimore. This is Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. Start the third quarter. The Blast felt they played well last night in Chicago, even though they lost. They were more encouraged than they have been any time in the last month or so, as the Spirit bring it into the near corner. Kapka goes down, and a foul called on Stan Stamenkovic, the first foul of the third quarter. And then to come home here, John Paul, with this big crowd, the playoff atmosphere, a must-win situation. Ball loose in front. Child had bounced off him, and they called a handball on Paul Child.
You're right in saying that for Pittsburgh to be down by 1 at halftime, I think is a bit of a moral victory, because you knew that Baltimore was going to come out storming. And if Baltimore had a 3-0 lead at this point, I would say it would be very dark indeed for Pittsburgh.
Bursic out to knock that one off the scoreboard. So the Blast will put it in play. Right at the Pittsburgh red line, it'll be Lukic keying the play. The Blast leading 2-1 as they control, and Bursic up high to make a save on a quick shot. It was taken from outside.
That was a rocket, actually, on the part of Stankovic, and Bursic had to come up and make a great save there. Next goal is going to be an important one, John, because if Baltimore gets it, they're up by 2. Pittsburgh gets it, they're tied again.
Savage is bumped in the corner. He's bumped by Yilmaz Orhan, and the foul goes against Pittsburgh. So the fouls are even 1 apiece. Quickly, they go inside looking for Lukic. Orhan picks it off. Goes far side. Now back to Paul Child at the red line. Child slows it down. Goes to Helmut Dudek. Back to Adam Topolsky. Zeke Kapka on this line as well. Now, it is a drive and a scoop save that time by Van Aaron. The shot was taken by Dudek. Now, Stamenkovic cannot control at midfield. The Spirit take over. 14 minutes left, third quarter. Far side, it's headed away by Baltimore. Picked up now by Stankovic. Chinipu out in front. Bursic comes out to make the save. Chinipu was pushed from behind, but there was no call made. And down goes Helmut Dudek, I believe. The ball hit him right on the knee, and Dudek is down just outside the penalty arc in front of the Pittsburgh goal.
And even before that, Lukic was down and is still down on the Baltimore end, but the big play came as the Blast brought it upfield, and Mike Stankovic found Chinipu behind Orhan. No defender in sight right there, as Bursic was able to come up and make the big save, and he's done that time and time again, and he's kept this score as close as it is. But right down the other end of the field was where Lukic had gotten hurt in the box. I think he may have twisted something, went down the wrong way, and he was down in a heap and is being tended to by trainer Bob Baldwin.
And apparently did a little damage to his ankle. He is in some pain. 13:47 left, third quarter. 2-1 Baltimore leading.
Well, we have this opportunity. We should give a congratulations to our producer director Doug Kennedy, who is the proud father of Christopher Allen Kennedy. 9 pounds 10 ounces. The child born without a headset, we're told, which is a television joke.
Under the direction, obviously, of Doug Kennedy.
That's right, I'm sure. So congratulations to Doug. I didn't get a cigar. You probably didn't either.
No, of course not.
Not Doug's style.
As long as we're passing along wishes, I'd like to send along happy birthday wishes to Hillary Sanders, who's having a little party at the Sanders household.
That sounds
a little
familiar.
Spirit party.
Let's keep that in the family. Lukic is okay, but I'll tell you what, he's got some severe knee bruises, as we can tell from up here, and we're very high up, but he's got some grass burns or artificial turf burns, if you will.
And those rug burns take a long time to heal. Let's hope that he has the time to rest up, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So a little stoppage in play here. We told you about the shots as we came into this quarter. 20-17, Baltimore out shooting Pittsburgh. On the board, they have 3 penalties for Pittsburgh and 1 for Baltimore. I don't think that's right. I think it's 1-1. We'll check it, of course, as we go along. David Bursich controls. Long feed for Godfrey Ingram. He's marked by Buriano, but Ingram controlling into the far corner. Now stops. He's double teamed. Klincharski can't pick it up, but McKenzie does. McKenzie stop. Goes to Klincharski. Being marked over there by Billy Ronson as he tries defensively to move the Spirit back. They do to midfield. John O'Hara taken away from him by Whitman. And the Blast take over. Whitman with it. He's got Ronson working ahead of him. Shot just missed to the left side. Whitman goes for the rebound. Now Bursich up to grab the ball out of the air. And O'Hara will take over. Less than 13 minutes left, third quarter. It's a 2-1 Baltimore lead. McKenzie works the ball back to Bursich. Gergerev to Bursich to O'Hara. Now O'Hara for Gergerev on the far side against Whitman, trying to run by him. Whitman cuts him off, and Whitman commits the foul.
And we're seeing Baltimore resort to the high pressure as well, but Pittsburgh was able to beat it with that long pass.
McKenzie at midfield gives it to O'Hara near side. Johnny trying to roll it in front for Gergerev. It's intercepted by Baltimore. Now Klincharski wins it out in front. Kicked away by the Baltimore Blast, and back it comes. Taken over by Van Aaron. Van Aaron decides not to go to Franz Matthew, who was standing right in front of him. Goes instead to Whitman. Now it comes back to Matthew. Ernie Buriano now will start up at midfield. Race against Gergerev. Buriano wins it into the near corner. Gergerev knocks him into the boards, and that foul will go against Gergerev. They say 4 fouls up there, JP, but I can't believe we've had that many fouls against Pittsburgh already. If we did, I missed 2 of them.
I don't remember them.
Out in front. The shot attempt comes back to Franz Matthew at midfield. Ingram applying the pressure there. Now it goes to Buriano to Whitman, with O'Hara marking him as they go into the far corner. It's in the Pittsburgh end. Whitman turning against O'Hara, looking for help. It comes back to Buriano at the red line. He starts in against Ingram, right in front. McKenzie trying to win the ball for the Spirit, can't do it. Finally does come over to cut it off in front of Ronson. Ronson did a good job that time for Baltimore. No result, though. It's still 2-1. The Blast are leading. This is Pittsburgh Spirit soccer.
The Penguins are leading the Flyers 2-0 in the first.
All right. Stan Stamenkovich, marked by Adam Topolsky. Stankovic now tackled away from him by Zeke Kapka, all the way back to the red line of Baltimore. Van Aaron is there to take over. The Blast bring it back. Stamenkovich in front, turning off the board, knocked away by Topolsky. Picked off by Marcio Leite, looking for Adam Topolsky, and loose in front. Kevin Marr has it now for the Spirit. And a dangerous pass, long lead for Stan Terlecki. Terlecki covered along the near boards in the Baltimore end. He has to come all the way back outside the red line and give it up to Kevin Marr. Now gets it back against Bruce Savage. Less than 11 to play, third quarter. Terlecki with a drive. It's wide to the right. Chinipu picks it up. For Baltimore, brings it back to Van Aaron. He clears it to Stankovic at his own red line, near side. 10:42. Left in the third quarter. Stankovic still with it. Top of the penalty circle now. Shoots. A save by Bursich. Headed out by Topolsky, but not cleared. Perlin has it. Working it back to the middle. Left-footed drive partially deflected by Marcio Leite, and back it comes to David Bursich. Now the Spirit control at their own red line. Terlecki, marked by Savage, still at the Pittsburgh red line. Stan tries to turn it upfield, can't. Kevin Marr will let it roll through to David Bursich.
Pittsburgh's starting to get a little sloppy in their own end or in their own side of the midfield line, and hopefully that will not cost them.
Foul goes against Baltimore. That's 3 on the Blast. Terlecki has it just outside the Baltimore red line. Savage marks him. He drops it for Marcio Leite. Perlin puts pressure on from behind, but Marcio keeps it. Marcio dribbling against Chinipu. Chinipu gets it ahead to Stan Stamenkovich. It's 4-on-2 Baltimore. Stamenkovich right at the top of the circle. Gives it up to Chinipu. His shot knocked away by Kevin Marr. Chinipu gets it back to Stan Stamenkovich. Stamenkovich against Topolsky. Starts a move. Cannot do anything with it. Marcio Leite has it for Terlecki. Terlecki some room now at midfield. He's got Topolsky to his right. Decides to stop at the red line. Turning, spinning, still controlling at the red line is Stan Terlecki. Now to Zekapka. All the way back across far side. Topolsky against Perlin to Kapka. 9:24 to play. Kapka's shot hits Terlecki in the back. Marcio Leite will run it down near the Blast red line. Drops it in the corner. Dudek with a drive. He missed wide to the right. Gonna kick all the way out to Perlin near the Baltimore red line. Terlecki over there to help out. but back comes Baltimore. It's a 2-on-3, not a good advantage for the Blast, and they give it up easily. David Bursich out to take it. The Blast were ready to make a line change.
It's unfortunate for Pittsburgh because Topolsky had a great run down the right side. Terlecki never spotted him, so a great run was wasted where something could have been done.
Lead ball inside. Turning is Stancharski. Franz Matthew comes up to take it off the board. Franz is double teamed. Dudek comes up with it for Pittsburgh. The Spirit putting some pressure on. Dudek a drive, just missed to the right. Orhan going for the rebound, could not come up with it. Yilmaz was in the right spot, simply couldn't get his foot on the ball. Now Stankovic drops it back to Ernie Buriano. Franz Matthew. They go far side now as the Blast start to work it up. Whitman with it, just outside his own red line. Near side now Stankovic. Stankovic gets past Orhan. He has some room in the corner. Stankovic against McKenzie off the board in front. It comes all the way across to the far side. Matthew is there. Now back to Stankovic against McKenzie. Stankovic fakes one way, goes back to the middle. Some room, a shot. Bursich punches it in the air. Headed back by Helmut Dudek. The Blast keep the pressure on. Whitman gets it back to Matthew in front. McKenzie with Whitman all over him, and the foul is going to go on Tim Whitman.
I'm surprised Whitman didn't get two for that. He basically grabbed McKenzie by the jersey and tossed him down.
8 minutes left in the third quarter. It's 2-1 Baltimore. This has been a great game. Stankovic intercepts. It's 3-on-3. Now 4-on-3 as Chinapu comes back to, Matthew comes back to help out. Erhard Kapp clears it in front to Terlecki. Stan trying to cut between two men is cut off by Whitman. Whitman back to Buriano at midfield. The Blast control. Now they'll slow it down just a little bit. Stankovic waits as Paul Child comes on now for the Pittsburgh Spirit. Near corner. Backing in is Ronson. Loose in front. And finally, Orhan knocks it over the boards and out of play. Whew.
Some bad signs. Baltimore's getting too much room, too much movement on the ball, and David Bursich is being left there. You recall a ball that went right through the box and right through David Bursich, and fortunately, no one was able to tap it home for the Baltimore Blast. 7:25 to go in the third quarter. Baltimore leads 2-1. This is Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
You know, supermarket weekly specials don't save you money, they cost you money. Because when a store lowers one...
KDKA TV2, who tuned in to see Crazy Like a Fox, it will be on. It'll come on immediately following the game, approximately 10 o'clock Eastern Time for Crazy Like a Fox. And we certainly thank KDKA TV2 in Pittsburgh and also KQV News Radio 1410 for being our flagship stations this year.
Baltimore getting a lot of pressure on Pittsburgh recently. A Stankovic shot was just punched up by David Bursich. It hit off the top of the glass, but that was only one example of how Bursich has really kept the Spirit alive in this quarter, because Baltimore's getting some very good scoring opportunities, and not just shots on goal, the darn good scoring chances.
And as you mentioned, JP, some sloppiness on the part of Pittsburgh, especially in their own end. You can't afford that with a guy like Stan Stamenkovic on the field. Off the boards in front, McWilliams looking for some help now. Ronson runs it down. Far side in the Pittsburgh zone. Whitman teaming up with Ronson. Nice pass by Ronson. Back to Whitman in the corner. Johnny O'Hara finally kicks the ball loose. Child is run down from behind, and that foul goes against the Baltimore Blast, and that's 5 on Baltimore.
That's a bad one for Billy Ronson, because there's nothing that Paul Child could have done in that situation. Those are the bad and the needless fouls that some players unfortunately take.
And Child was in the zone where almost he had to turn the ball back to Bursich in order to get the offense started. Now, down in the Blast end, Franz Matthew starts back. It's 3-on-3. Matthew goes to Ronson on the far side, knocked away by Orhan. It comes back outside to Curlin, outside the red line of the Baltimore Blast. Curlin will watch the ball come off the boards. Near corner, McKenzie marks him. The Spirit double team and win the ball. Yilmaz Orhan to Erhard Kapp. McKenzie now Orhan at the red line. Moves around Curlin. Some room, a little bit of room. Coming over to cut it off with Dave McWilliams. A little bit of room that time for Erhard Kapp, but it was cut off quickly. Franz Matthew at midfield to Stan Stamenkovic, who's back on. 6:10 to play third quarter. Stamenkovic waiting to get the offense set up. Orhan will mark him. He gets around him. Still controls. Orhan still cannot win the ball. A shot quickly. Quick he is with that shot when he decides to take it.
And he saw the mismatch. Topolsky not on the field with him, so he wanted to try and control the ball and do as best he could in that situation.
That will be the 6th foul on the Baltimore Blast. O'Hara O'Hara went down. The foul called on Baltimore, and for the second time in the game, the blast had been called for a 6th foul penalty.
And this is the opportunity that Pittsburgh wants, a chance to get back on the scoreboard and tie it if they can. Right now they trail.
It is 2-1 Baltimore on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Today we're talking to the man with the world's fastest.
Taking down John O'Hara from behind. He got the foot in, went after the ball, but he got John O'Hara, and that sets up the power play for the Spirit. Actually, JP, the 3rd chance they've had in the game tonight. Marcio Leite. Now Godfrey Ingram. They work it on the perimeter. Here's Dudick. Marcio fakes a shot. Now goes back to Dudick. Dudick rolls it from the corner. It's knocked away by Buriano. Quick shot, headed out. And back to Godfrey Ingram. Ingram with it. Marcio with a drive and a save by Van Aaron. Rebound is cleared but not out as it's kept in by Godfrey Ingram. Ingram driving it in front. Now Stankovic has it. Stankovic loses and a foul call. That's 5 now on Pittsburgh, if that number is right. And we assume it is at this point. Marcio called for the foul. 5 on Pittsburgh. In addition, Baltimore will put the ball in play with 1:20 left in the penalty.
And that's something you definitely don't want to do. Foul when you have a man advantage. Now Pittsburgh is put in a situation where the next foul could put them a man down as well.
Whitman with it. Double teamed. He has a little bit of room. Whitman rolling it with his left foot. Now dumps it in the corner. Didn't get any help that time from Stankovic. So with 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, about 1:07 left in the penalty, it's Stan Terlecki. Back to Ingram inside that red line. Stan picks it up, gets it back to Godfrey. Ingram working in slowly. Now goes to Terlecki in the far corner. Stan quickly back to Ingram. 54 seconds left in the penalty. A little bit of room for Helmut Dudick, and a drive by Marcio Leite is up and out of play. 4:41 left 3rd quarter. 48 seconds left in the Baltimore penalty, and the Blast have been successful in killing off the first 2.
They had one good scoring chance that I can recall, John, and that was when Leite really cranked it about as hard as he could. Van Aaron made a diving save to his left and parried that ball far enough away so that there was no rebound. And when you think about it, that's the one thing Van Aaron has done very well tonight. He has cleared all of those rebounds. So Pittsburgh has had the one shot on him, but no second attempt.
4 minutes and 41 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. It's still a 2-1 game, has been 2-1 since the 12:48 mark of the 2nd quarter. We're now with 4:41 left in the 3rd quarter. So the keepers have been equal to the challenge, and about 45 seconds left in that penalty, but the Blast controlling Stankovic against Helmut Dudick, and it's Stankovic controlling. Near the Pittsburgh red line, he loses, and the Pittsburgh Spirit will start back, which should be probably for their last full rush on this power play. 30 seconds left on the power play. Godfrey Ingram at the red line. Works it now into the Baltimore zone. Now to Dudick. Helmut back to Marcio Leite. They go far side. Fake the pass to Terlecki. Marcio with a drive. It's deflected off the glass. Dudick keeps it alive in front. Marcio tipping it to Godfrey Ingram. He doesn't shoot. Instead settles. Goes to Stan Terlecki. Terlecki with 10 seconds left on the penalty. Back to Ingram to Marcio Leite. 4 minutes left 3rd quarter. Quickly to Terlecki. 3 seconds left in the penalty. Terlecki in the far corner. The penalty is over. A header by Dudick. He gets it back. Helmut Dudick is pushed down. Nothing called. Back on the Baltimore Blast. Marcio Leite, though, gets between the Blast and the ball momentarily. Alone in front. Paul Child back to knock it away for Pittsburgh. McWilliams knocks down Marcio Leite as Chinapu picks it up far side. 3 minutes, 30 seconds left 3rd quarter. Keep in mind 5 fouls on the Pittsburgh Spirit. It's still 2-1. Baltimore leading. McWilliams on the far side, and the Pittsburgh end brings it back to Chinapu just outside the Pittsburgh red line on the far side. Now Franz Matthew returns. Along with Stankovic, 3 minutes and 13 seconds left. A lot of room for Stankovic. Now Ingram picks him up. He turns to the left side, shoots, just missed to the right side. A blistering shot by Stankovic. Now Stan Terlecki on a breakaway down the left side. Stankovic chasing off the board. Ingram rebound goes out of play.
Well, it's end to end now. here in Baltimore, but a great rush down the field by Terlecki. But right before that, everybody says Stankovic has the great right foot. Let's make a case here for his left as well, because he really drills this one and probably dented the post. And such was the momentum of that drive, John, that as it went up the left wing sideline, there goes Pittsburgh on a break, and Stan Terlecki off to the races. There was not much he could do with the angle because the footsteps and the players were coming from behind, so he didn't have a clear shot. It looked like he was shooting, though, rather than passing to Ingram, and it came off too hard for Godfrey to do anything with.
So it went out of play. It'll be a goal kick now for the Baltimore Blast. Exactly 3 minutes left, third quarter. Exactly 18 minutes left in somebody's season.
And don't forget, you can still call for playoff tickets, 642-2067.
At midfield, Terlecki wins the ball against Matthew. Matthew called for the foul. That's 7. The Spirit have 5. We still have 2 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the third quarter. Terlecki brings it all the way back. It comes down into the Pittsburgh zone. He'll be stopped there by David Bursic and O'Hara. To midfield to Yilmaz Orhan. Orhan bumped a couple of times. Can't do much with it. Bursic is going to have to come out. Chips it downfield. It'll be a 3-line violation. So it'll come all the way back to the Pittsburgh Red Line, and the Baltimore Blast with 2:32 to play in the third quarter will put it in play right there. 2-1, Baltimore leading. Goals by Stamenkovic and Ronson. The Pittsburgh goal by Zikapka. 2-1 our score here in Baltimore. McWilliams. Franz Matthew a shot. Whitman looks for the rebound in the corner. So does Buriano. It deflects off O'Hara and up into the air. Now Whitman has it. McWilliams in the corner, some room. It goes up and out of play.
Well, we've got a great one going here for you. I wish we could tell you what's going on in Cleveland, but this is the one city and one press box where if a game is played tonight, we might get the score next Tuesday. So we're still trying for you, but it's hard to get those out-of-town scores. And that's a big game because that tells you who Pittsburgh or Baltimore will play in the opening round of the playoffs.
O'Hara and Bursic back as Whitman tries to apply some pressure. Gergerev, nice header, goes to Klincharski, far side, outside the Baltimore red line. Nicky looking in the corner again for Gergerev. Gergerev is marked from behind and double teamed. Brings it back to O'Hara against Whitman. Johnny wins the ball. It's loose in front. O'Hara now can't control. And back from the Baltimore Blast. Again, though, it's Johnny O'Hara to break up the play. Now, down in the near corner, Baltimore with a 3-on-2 advantage, and McKenzie breaks that up against Ronson. McKenzie can't clear, though. McWilliams tries, and Klincharski brings it back to midfield. Gergerev at midfield. Down goes Buriano, and Gergerev wins the ball. A chance. Here's Ingram. He's got the goalkeeper out, and his ball is taken away from him. A foul is going to be called. Ingram had plenty of room. He had Gergerev to his right. The Pittsburgh Spirit won a penalty on the play, but they're at least going to get the foul.
Well, a bad collision between Franz Matthew and Godfrey Ingram. Gergerev had won the ball because Buriano tried to draw a foul and didn't get it. Freddie streaked down the right side. He made a good pass to Ingram. It forced Van Aaron to come out. Godfrey cut back because he still had Ronson back there defending. He made sure that Ronson swept right by him, but then basically held onto it too long. I believe he wanted to hit Gergerev, but right before he could do that, Matthew really smacked him.
Well, Freddie would have had an empty net. There's no problem because Van Aaron was out. He had come out to cut down the angle on Godfrey Ingram, and you can see Franz Matthew, number 28, is the player down. Matthew is the player injured, and that's why we have the delay in the game right now. Godfrey Ingram also shaken up a little bit, but he is on his feet. Franz Matthew is not with a minute 35 left, third quarter.
I think Godfrey's more upset because there was not a penalty called, and he thought it was a pretty violent act, and there was nothing called on Franz Matthew. And like you're saying, if Gergerev is open and Matthew knows that, he's going to try to hit Godfrey as best he can, as hard as he can, to try and knock him off stride, and that is apparently what he did there. With a minute 35 to go, this is still a close game. This is, I don't know, maybe Pittsburgh has teased their fans all season, and maybe it's going to go right down to the final seconds. Who knows? But here it's very close, as Godfrey Ingram is okay, as John Sanders had mentioned, but it is Franz Matthew who is still down.
Well, Godfrey was setting it up for the pass. There's no question about that. When Matthew came in, took his legs out from under him. We actually had 2 Baltimore Blast players down on the field because Ernie Buriano was also down as well. Buriano is up, but Franz Matthew is not. He is still down. Ingram and Matthew both went down on the play. There was a foul called, but no penalty with 1:35 left in the third quarter. And we'll see if we can get Franz up and about. Richard Chinapoo is going to give him a hand. Franz Matthew from Haiti. This is his second season. The head coach under some pressure here, Kenny Cooper of the Baltimore Blast. And John Paul, you talked about it a little bit. He thinks he has a lot of internal problems with his team. That's strange for this to happen to what has been basically a championship team.
Well, they've won 3 straight division championships. They've won 1 overall championship, and Kenny Cooper has never had to worry about that. But Baltimore's players and as a team, they've had some internal problems. You see them stopping. Not tonight. They're playing all out, or so it seems. But we've watched them in some games where you've got to question some of the effort and wonder where the second effort was, as Matthew is going to walk off without his right shoe on. And it's not because he can't tie that shoe. It's probably because that ankle might be a little bit swollen.
Well, in the middle of all that is Paul Kitson, who has not played in the last 2 games against the Spirit. And if you've watched Baltimore and Pittsburgh play, you know what he does to the Pittsburgh Spirit. He had 6 goals this year. Dudek's drive misses to the right. Curlin will chase it down for Baltimore, and back they come with 1:30 left. Curlin all the way into the far corner. Gergerev cuts him off. But the Baltimore Blast control the ball. Back out to midfield. Chinapoo takes charge. Looking for Stan Stamenkovic. Does not go to him. Now Stamenkovic has it. Just outside the penalty arc against Topolsky. Good roll for Savage. Knocked down by Ingram. No foul called. Now a drive is high by Stankovic. Boy, Stankovic has a rifle of a shot. Chinapoo on the far side. Back into the Pittsburgh zone. His shot missed to the left side. Back it comes to the red line. Stankovic will run it down. Less than a minute to play. Third quarter. Chinapoo at midfield for Baltimore. The Blast controlling right now. There's a harmless pass that goes into the near corner. It's picked up by Helmut Dudek. So with 45 seconds left in the third quarter, the Spirit with 5 fouls probably be content, JP, to take it to the fourth quarter down by 1.
I certainly would be content because they don't want to give Baltimore a power play at the end of this quarter or the start of the next.
Savage takes the ball away from Gergerev, brings it back to Van Aren. He stops with 25 seconds left in the third quarter. Now goes to Curlin. He missed the ball completely. Topolsky will take over with 20 seconds left in the period. Back to Bursic. Clock winding down. David takes some time. Now goes to Dudek. And quickly it comes back to Stan Stamenkovic. Stamenkovic stopping, starting, doing it again, right in the circle. Quick shot, and Bursic is there. Stankovic really couldn't get anything on it as the clock is going to run out. 1 second, and that's it. We have played 3 quarters here at Baltimore's Civic Center. It is the Blast 2, the Spirit 1. 15 minutes of somebody's season left on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Out on the town, flying around.
Here in the Civic Center, it is 2-1. The Blast leading as we head to the fourth quarter of play. One other score: Cleveland 2, Minnesota 0, with 7 minutes left in the first quarter of play in that one. Here we have 15 minutes remaining. And it has been a busy night for David Bursic. He has been tested, especially in the third quarter when things got a little sloppy.
Well, Baltimore was firing everything but the kitchen sink at him. A Stankovic rocket. When it wasn't hitting the post, David Bursic was able to make the nice saves on players, especially like Stankovic.
Now, their play got a little rough at times, too, as Whitman and McKenzie get tangled up in the box. Baltimore keeping the pressure on, and Whitman really ripping McKenzie to the ground. There was a foul called, but no penalty on the play.
And Whitman was fortunate on that. We'll see if Harry Noden is going to be fortunate. From Murraysville, Pennsylvania, $400 in Giant Eagle groceries at stake if Freddie Gergerev scores a goal. And right now, Pittsburgh will take it from anyone because they're down 2-1 with 1 more quarter to go. We welcome our listeners on News Radio, KQV, as well as KDK Television. And again, we remind you that Crazy Like a Fox, the detective show starring Jack Warden, will be on after Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Also point out that the Spirit were outshot 10-3 in the third quarter, JP. They've now been outshot in the game 30-20. And Bursic has made 15 saves to 10 for Van Aren. So in that category, really opened up. And we saw a lot of that in the third quarter. We'll see what happens in the fourth quarter.
Whitman's shot just hit off the far post. That was close. Leite brings it up over the midfield line as the fourth quarter is 13 seconds old. Players know it.
One thing the Spirit were able to do was escape that third quarter without that sixth foul.
And that was a plus for them because they didn't fall down by any more. And it's a plus for them again that they did not fall down by a couple of goals. And that has to frustrate Baltimore a little bit, at least up to this point, as Leite brings it upfield on the left wing side. Dudek crossing the red line. Sends one into the box, and Buriano sends it out. Tough loss, by the way, for Baltimore if Matthew is not able to play well, but he's out there now trying it. Franz Matthew, an aggressive defender on Leite. Marcio off the boards. It's knocked away by Buriano.
The Spirit having the better of it so far early here in the fourth quarter. That one goes high and over 3 lines. Bursic bringing it down, so David's going to have to set up shop defensively as the ball will be put in play by Baltimore at the Pittsburgh red line.
Yeah, that's not what he wanted to do. He was not trying to avoid pressure. He wanted that to go over 2 lines and help to set the team on the attack. Ball played into McWilliams with his back to the goal. Near wing side, turns it, brings it to the box. Great save for Bursic on a McWilliams shot that was right on.
And quick feet that time by Earhart tapped to clear the ball out of there.
Buriano plays it upfield now to Whitman over the midfield line. Tim Whitman with it. An all-star, 1 of 5 on this Baltimore team to make the All-Star Classic in Chicago. Billy Ronson battles along the near boards and it's won by Pittsburgh. Well, if Pittsburgh comes back and wins this, you got to look at the man in goal because he's made those big saves. Otherwise, it could be a deficit that Pittsburgh is just simply unable to come from behind and win.
I think the next goal is the key to this game, John Paul.
Absolutely. Dudek to Topolsky. Adam in over the attack line, off the boards. Ronson cuts it off. Communication problem there. Van Aaron wanted that ball, but there was no harm done. It's cleared back into the neutral zone. On the blast side, Topolsky to John O'Hara, teamed up on defense. Up the left side, Gergiev lets himself go over the ball, leaves it for Kapka. Back at the left point, O'Hara in a few strides, knocks it off the right boards for Orhan. Can't handle the high pass, and Stamenkovic backheels it nicely for Franz Matthew.
And every time Stan Stamenkovic touches the ball, it's almost like it's glued to his foot.
The magician, they call him, and rightly so. Stankovic in over the line. His shot goes wide. Tell you what, if Stankovic crosses that line, somebody's got to pick him up. Lead ball now to Gergiev, who got behind the defense. Stops on Matthew. Nowhere to go with it. Now Chinapoo will knock it away. So it looked like a decent situation. Goes by the boards, and we see Michael Collins out on the field for the very first time tonight. He did not play in the game last night in Chicago or Tuesday against Pittsburgh, although he did dress. Ball played now by Chinapoo to Collins at the red line of Pittsburgh. Michael Collins from New York, the Long Island area, plays it on the right side for Stan Stamenkovic. In the box, he wanted Chinapoo, but O'Hara heads it away. O'Hara and Chinapoo battle along the near boards, and O'Hara wins it right back to David Bursic. To Topolsky off the left wing boards for Z Kapka. Savage going in a close on Z. Z putting the brakes on at the red line. Now reverses on the right side for Topolsky. 11:56 to go. Fourth quarter, 2-1 Baltimore leading. Into the corner for Gergiev. Off the boards. No one near it except for Baltimore, and they'll take it.
Spirit had the right idea, but there was nobody home.
Savage cleared it up the boards for Chinapoo, and now it's 3-on-2 as Baltimore hustles. Chinapoo feeds away from Michael Collins. Along the right wing boards, he holds. Reverses it on the left side for Chinapoo. Wide open is Savage. He'll get it by the penalty arc, and Topolsky nails it the other way. It does not go over 3 lines. Van Aaron way out of his goal. Must win the ball, and he does. Up the near side boards, it goes to Chinapoo in the neutral zone. He'll reverse for Mike Stankovic. Over the midfield line. Stankovic cutting to the right, in over the attack line with Gergiev. Puts the brakes on, now plays it all the way back to Chinapoo. Chinapoo right back for Mike Stankovic.
And the fans react because Chinapoo really wasn't moving. Richard is walking right now.
Chinapoo holding it. For Stamenkovic. Nice backheel pass into the box area. Collins shot off the post. What a great ball from Stamenkovic.
Good play by Z Kapka, though. He actually got behind David Bursic that time to back up because Bursic was a little bit out of the goal, and a quick backheel almost set up a big goal for the Baltimore Blast.
Collins showing some signs of rustiness. He has not played that much, but he does have some ability. McKenzie now to Klimcharski. Reversed the other way to Kevin Marr, who we've not seen in a while, for Godfrey Ingram. Godfrey double team. He'll lose the ball. Whitman and now Chinapoo bang it down the length of the field. Still 2-1 Baltimore. 10.5 to go. Not in the fourth quarter, but in the season for one of these two teams. McKenzie off the boards. Deep. Gergiev in the corner of the Baltimore end. Marked up by Stankovic. Out at the right point, McKenzie. Back in the corner. Gergiev shooting it. Stopped short side. Off a deflection. A score. It's tied at 2.
It looks to me like Nicky Klimcharski may get credit for that goal because he was right on the doorstep, John Paul, when the ball kicked around. Van Aaron could not control it, and the Pittsburgh Spirit have tied the game.
Well, it'll be about time if Pittsburgh gets a break like that. Gergiev took the shot. Van Aaron, well, that's one he should have had. He missed it on the short side. If Klincharski gets it, fine. If Gergiev gets credit for it, then we've got somebody that's won $400 in Giant Eagle groceries, so we'll have to wait on this important call. But in any event, it's tied at 2.
That's the big news. The score is tied. The Pittsburgh Spirit, with 10-12 to play in the game, are right back in it.
You got to go back to the Collins miss on a Stamenkovic feed. About 40 seconds later, Pittsburgh came up with a goal on their own. Whitman the other way, knocking it back to Buriano. That at least picks the crowd up. It's tied at 2. Tim Whitman back in the neutral zone for Buriano. Upfield into the box. McWilliams wants to turn McKenzie off the boards too high. Ingram trying to settle it down. Pittsburgh has never led tonight, so if they can get another goal and go ahead, who knows? Here's Marr the other way. Knocked away by Matthew. Camp with a blast. Broken up. Baltimore will break 2-on-1 up the left wing side. McWilliams into the attack zone. Ronson open. Right-footed shot off the post. Clear to the near boards by Kevin Marr, but they're going to call a penalty, a handball, and that means a penalty shot. And I believe it's going to be called on Dave McKenzie.
Let's take a look. You see, there was a reaction from McKenzie after the play. The ball is loose. It gets behind Bursic. McKenzie going up. David trying for the header, but apparently caught it with his left hand, and that's going to be the call.
So Baltimore will have a penalty shot coming up. Mack was in a very awkward position, very awkward, when he reached back and tried to get it off a reverse header. The arm was extended, and he got a piece of the ball. So Stamenkovic has one shot. Remember, the ball is live, so if Bursic stops it and doesn't control it, anyone else can get that rebound. This can be the turning point of the game. Bursic can make a save and really deaden Baltimore, or Baltimore can recapture the lead. The big man, Stan Stamenkovic, will take the penalty kick, and if he misses, remember, Baltimore still has a power play.
Officially, by the way, on the last Pittsburgh goal, credited to Nicky Klincharski, and they say unassisted. So Klincharski gets the goal at 4:48. Now it's tied with 9:31 to play, and you know who is getting ready for the penalty shot.
Stan Stamenkovic, who has one goal tonight. What tension. Put yourself in the goalkeeper's shoes. A screaming crowd, a tied-up game, and Stan Stamenkovic to shoot. Strikes it with the left foot off the crossbar. So Bursic did not have to come up with it, and it goes out of play. Coming up next is the power play for the Blast. It's tied at 2. This is Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
For answer.
The game was on the line when Stan Stamenkovic went in for the penalty shot. Bursic coming straight up to face him, and the ball went up. Might have gotten a piece of it as it kicked off the crossbar and out of play. But the problem is not over yet for David Bursic and the Spirit, because the power play, 1 minute and 52 seconds left.
We had a chance to see it on the monitor, and I've got to say, David Bursic looked like he got a piece of that ball. So credit him with an outstanding save. He didn't chop down the angle at the very least, but I think he got that ball. It was hard to tell from the monitor we were looking at up here, but all indications are he did get a piece. So outstanding, David.
Hang on, folks.
Power play for the Blast. They bring it over the attack line. Chinabu's shot blocked. It comes back out. Stan Stamenkovic with it. A power play on for another 1:26. 2-2 tie. He gives it off for Chinabu. The shot stopped by Bursic. Rebound. David just got his hands on it and got his left thumb kicked again by Whitman as he lost that ball. Ball played upfield now to Kevin Marr near the midfield line. Off the boards. The Blast will get it back.
Everybody in the building is standing right now, especially the people in front of us.
Which means we're standing. Stamenkovic will bring it in over the red line to the right side. Chinabu cranks it low, and it's wide off a deflection. O'Hara may have gotten a piece. To the left point for Stankovic. 50 seconds on the power play. Dead center, it's Stamenkovic. The big man walks in a few strides, feeds it to Whitman. Blocked by John O'Hara. Big block there for O'Hara. Off the boards. Stamenkovic will take it at the right point. 38 seconds on the power play. Chips it in wide. Rebound header is wide by Whitman. Along the left wing boards, players battle for it. Stankovic in there working hard with Godfrey Ingram, and they're going to call a foul on Pittsburgh.
28 seconds, JP, left in that penalty now.
One foul apiece. Baltimore puts it in place. Stamenkovic right across Whitman, open in the box. Left-footed shot. Great save for Bursic. But how was Whitman that far open?
He was wide open. Bursic had to come all the way out to make the save. The pressure's not off yet because there's still about 15 seconds left in the penalty.
Out to Chinapu, now to Stankovic. Left point. Left wing boards. Stamenkovic rolling it in. A shot off the hand of David Bursic. That one stunned him. He went right back into the goal. But Bursic, a courageous performance once more. Kevin Moore back upfield on the right wing side. A shot on the short side, and Van Aaron had a hard time with that.
But they have killed off the penalty.
Long throw upfield for Stamenkovic. Plays it. Open space. Collins holds. Fakes back for Stamenkovic. In a 2-2 tie. Brings it to the middle of the field. Fakes the backheel pass. Still rolling with it. Left wing boards for Stankovic. Right across. Davey McWilliams on the right side. Now to Chinapu. The shot stopped on the short side by Bursic. Headed out by O'Hara. Terlecki trying to control it in the neutral zone. Stan has it tackled away, but McKenzie will get it. Up the left wing boards, picked off. Stankovic brings it right back in. To the right side for Stamenkovic. He holds. Fakes. Dribbles it once, twice, stolen away by John O'Hara for Terlecki. 1-on-1, now 2-on-1. Stan over the line, knocked away by McWilliams, but won by Pittsburgh. Into the corner for O'Hara, knocked away by Michael Collins. Bodies are down all over the field. Way down deep in the other end, Richard Chinapu is still down. So the trainer, Bob Baldwin, comes out for Baltimore. I didn't see how that one happened. We'll try to sort it out for you, though. When we return, 6:38 left in regulation time. Dead even at 2 apiece. This is Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Everybody is a star. I can feel it when you shine on me.
To the Pittsburgh Spirit have survived the penalty shot. It was taken by Stan Stamenkovic, and Stamenkovic made the good run. Bursic came forward to meet him, and David, it looked like, got a piece of it. It kicked up and hit the crossbar and came all the way back out. Then the Spirit survived the rest of the power play. We're now in the halftime in Minnesota, and Cleveland leads Minnesota by a score of 2-1. The winner of that game plays the winner of this game in the playoffs, and a timeout is in effect down on the field with 6:38 to play as the teams huddle around their respective coaches and try to get set for what is really heated action. You talk about end to end. Every move is almost desperation, and you have the feeling that something's going to pop and somebody's going to make a great play here.
Well, everyone knows that there's only 6:38 to go, so there should be no problem with getting that effort, John. If you're looking at a few more games, no. Both teams know that this is their last game or their last 6 minutes and 38 seconds. And I'll tell you, Baltimore is getting some chances, but they're not putting it in, especially with the big man Stamenkovic. Earlier, he had crossed the ball for Tim Whitman, and as we point out, he was wide open, but he had a hard time controlling the pass, and as a result, it enabled John O'Hara, as I recall, to close. So the restart play with a drop ball, similar to a face-off in hockey, in the neutral zone. Leite wins it back, all the way back. Bursic will clear it up the field. Franz Matthew, who is all right apparently, up for Buriano. Over the attack line, off the left wing for Whitman, off the boards. It comes by everybody. Billy Ronson after with 6:24 to go. 2-2 tie. And a foul was called on Baltimore, so that's 2 on the blast, 1 on Pittsburgh. Fouls right now are not a factor. Bursic throwing it long for Leite. Marcio will run it in over the line to the right side boards. Cap with the turnaround wide over to the far post. Terlecki in the corner now to the left wing. Knocked away by Matthew. Stan all the way back into the neutral zone to collect it. Up for Kapka. Knocked back to Helmut Dudek. Back on the right side, Dave McKenzie. Now for Dudek on the left. Picked up by Whitman at midfield. For Terlecki, 35 feet from goal. Brings it towards center. Blocked. He'll try it again. Stan, a shot off the post and out. Off the inside of the post, or else the Spirit would have had the lead for the first time. Off a deflection. Now Baltimore bangs it out. It's going over 3 lines, but they don't care as long as it relieved the pressure. But I was ready to call that one in.
I was too. An excellent opportunity for Terlecki. He just somehow managed to keep control of the ball, even though he was hit once, twice. The ball kicked loose. Stan had all kinds of room. Looked to the right corner, and you can see, it did hit the inside of the post and kicked away.
Tell you, when he hits that post, they usually go in for him. Marcio Leite back at the right point area for Kapka. Z holding it for Leite. Top of the penalty arc. Left-footed drive. Blocked by Buriano to the corner. Terlecki, who just missed seconds ago. Out to Dudek. Knocking it in, but it's knocked right back out of the zone. McKenzie wants to knock it back in for Kapka. Right board. Z brings it to the middle. A wicked shot. Blocked. Leite the rebound, and he shot it wide. He was open. Missed on the right foot. Buriano will get it back for Baltimore.
And the pressure has been all Pittsburgh here in the last couple of minutes.
Buriano up the boards. Nice cut to the middle. A Ronson shot, though, went into the crowd. He did a nice job bringing it to the middle, but then lost control. It's dead even at 2. If you've stayed with us thus far, we know we're not going to lose you now. This is Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. It is not a runaway for either side, and the outcome still in doubt with 5 minutes remaining in the game. Long pass up the field, a Chinapu and Chow collision. It's amazing. Chinapu looked like the medics were going to take him off about 2 minutes ago, and he's back out there. It doesn't look any the worse for wear. He may have been trying to kill some time and take a breather. Chinapu will send it long off the right boards for Stamenkovic in a 2-2 tie. In the right wing corner, he steps over the ball, waits for someone to make a run. Pulls out for Chinapu from 50 feet. His shot goes wide. Ingram on the rebound of it. Upfield, intercepted. Pass went astray, and it's Stankovic to the right side boards for Stamenkovic. Stan holding it. Waits. Well, there's a whistle. We're going to call a foul on Michael Collins.
I think that's the second time Collins has gotten caught inside trying to muscle his way into position, and they've called the foul on him. So it is 3 fouls so far on Baltimore, 2 on Pittsburgh, but 4:36 remaining. As you pointed out a while ago, the fouls aren't really a problem for either team.
At least not yet.
And I have to have the feeling that the officials, Gino DiPolito and Julio Salas, are going to let them play the last 4:30.
I hope so. I would have to think that you're right. I think they'll let them go both sides. Ball played downfield. Chinapu will play it back to Keith Van Aaron. A 2-2 tie. It's played upfield now for Stamenkovic. 4:23 to go in the game. Good lead pass. Chinapu running onto it. Try to bang it off the glass, and it goes into the crowd. And apparently it was last touched by Pittsburgh.
So it'll be a corner kick for the Blast. You play 47 games plus, and it comes down to 4 minutes and 19 seconds of soccer.
Stan Stamenkovic on the corner kick. He's on along with Chinapu, Savage, Stankovic, and Michael Collins. Who's going to be the hero for either side? Stamenkovic ready. Plays it. Right side, Stankovic open. He scores. Baltimore, and Stankovic was wide open.
A beautiful play by the Baltimore Blast. They ran in 2 attackers that pulled the Spirit defense in. They weren't the intended recipients of the pass. No doubt it was a set play all the way to go to Stankovic. He gets the goal. So Mike Stankovic picks up his 19th goal of the season. Stamenkovic gets the assist, and Baltimore has the lead again.
And when you see Stankovic open on his right foot, even though he can shoot with the left, as we mentioned before, that right foot, it's going to be a bullet. And that would have been tough for David Persich to stop.
It was a beautifully designed play.
Oh, absolutely. And Stan Stamenkovic, the orchestra leader. It's still not over yet. Pittsburgh has shown the ability to come back in this one. Topolsky setting it long. It's 3-2 Baltimore. Gergerev marked up by Chinapu. That's a costly foul for Baltimore. That gives them 4. And now fouls could become a factor. The one that Collins took in the box the other way may come back and haunt Baltimore. Let's see. Ingram will put it in play. Off the left wing boards, Gergerev blocked by Savage. Stamenkovic will pick it up. Rolls it off the boards, but Van Aaron is there.
And yes, that is Stan Stamenkovic playing both ends of the field right now.
Van Aaron's pass almost hits the scoreboard. Up for Collins, who flicks it deep into the Spirit zone. 3:45 to go in the regular season. 3-2. Baltimore leading over Pittsburgh. Earhart Cap with it. Remember, we still have operators standing by, and I'm sure they're standing. Nobody could sit now. The announcers here are standing. Yours truly, John Paul Della Camera and John Sanders.
And we have been since the opening kickoff.
And it's really got nothing to do with the game. It's the seat location up here, right? Adam Topolsky sending it in long off the left wing boards. Gergerev with Savage on him. Nice move to chip it around him. Trying to take the shot, blocked by Chinapu. His body's hit the deck. Van Aaron appears to be hurt. Gergerev doesn't buy that act, though. He thinks that Van Aaron may be jockeying for time, but Gergerev made a great play, John, to really undress one of the league's best defenders in Bruce Savage.
It was a beautiful move as Gergerev kind of made a pass to himself, bringing it over Savage's head. He was tripped and knocked down that time by Chinapu, and in the process rolled into Van Aaron, and I'm not sure if they called a foul or not.
Oh, Van Aaron's upset at someone. It's probably Freddie. He gets blamed for everything out there.
Tempers are flaring down on the turf with 3:10 to play in the game and in somebody's season.
I say Freddie is probably the target because last game in this building, Freddie and Dave McWilliams almost went at it. Freddie was down on the ground, and I had said that it's probably Baltimore, remembering back to the first time that the Spirit came into this building. Gergerev, and I can't recall who the other player was for Baltimore at the time. Oh, now I can. It was Savage. There was an incident at the end of the game, and Freddie got tagged with a penalty towards the end of the game, and Baltimore was very upset. There were some comments in the paper the next day about that situation, and it's a long season, but players seem to have a good memory for that.
You bet they do. Doesn't matter how long the season is.
I find that hockey players have the best memories for whatever reason.
Gergerev and Van Aaron exchanging words up close and personal, as it were.
Dangerous play on Pittsburgh. I'm not sure if that was called right away. If it was, we certainly didn't hear it or see it with all of the crowd noise. But now Gergerev and Van Aaron shake hands. Nice bit of good sportsmanship because, you know, they were just battling just seconds ago. It's 3-2 Baltimore.
Well, that's the kind of intensity that we have here, and the Spirit still need a goal to get back in this. But as you pointed out, John Paul, they've come from behind twice to tie it up tonight. It'll take some work now.
Bruce Savage rolling it back to Van Aaron. Long throw upfield for Stamenkovic. Off the boards, it is Savage at the red line for Stamenkovic into some space. Rolling it, leading it for Savage on the run. Bursic comes out, got a piece of the ball. David Bursic again keeping the Spirit alive. Now Stamenkovic keeps it back for Michael Collins at the right point. Cuts in a few strides, swept away to the boards by Dudek. He'll bang it off the boards, and Topolsky will help to clear it out. Off a bounce, and I believe off Gergerev, though. It will go into the Baltimore bench, and the Blast will have the ball. The clock very much the factor now, John, with 2:40 to go. In indoor soccer, that's a lot of time. David Bursic just seconds ago had come up with a big save on Savage.
He definitely gambled, too. Came out to make the tackle himself, but he got away with it.
If he doesn't get the ball and deflect it the other way, it's probably going to roll either in the net or towards the net. So you're right, it was a gamble, but it worked. Briano sends it into the corner for Tim Whitman. Baltimore looking. Plays it back out for Matthew from 45 in a corner. Quick shot just wide by McWilliams. I think Bursic nope. He did not get a hand on it because they're going to call a goal kick on the part of Pittsburgh. Okay, Baltimore trying to get that killer instinct, but they don't want to get caught attacking too much.
Well, McWilliams had some room that time, and it appeared to us as if it went off the hands of David Bursic and out, but the official said otherwise, so it will be a goal kick for the Spirit.
So here's Baltimore leading 3-2, and they're thinking about it. You know, do they attack, and try with that killer instinct to get a goal? Because a 2-goal lead at this stage would probably bury Pittsburgh. But if you spend too much time going for that goal, you could forget about somebody back defensively, and right now Don Popovic will put the horses out. Terlecki is on. Ingram is on. Now the ball is taken away by Baltimore. Stankovic. Baltimore may try to eat up some of this clock. Stankovic on the give and go, blocked. Terlecki will pick it up at his own red line. Runs it back in the middle. Whitman running back with him, side to side, and he won the ball. Whitman taken down by Terlecki. Play on, says the official. Stankovic in front of the Spirit bench. Blocked once, then twice. Now McKenzie keeps it alive. Good hustle. Right side. Kapka put it upstairs into the crowd. Baltimore got a good break there because they spent so much time working for that ball on the sideline that when they missed it, they had players out of position.
And that time it was the Spirit's turn to get some room and get off a good shot. Unfortunately for Z, it was high and over the glass.
Yeah, these guys are fighting hard. Baltimore with 4 fouls, and they were kicking away at that ball on the far sideline. It was important for them not to get frustrated, especially when there was no foul called on Terlecki. Van Aaron puts it in play. 1:52 to go in someone's season. Regulation time. Dudek intercepts the feed from Whitman. He's got a chance. Helmet in over the line outside the box, but the shot is blocked by Baltimore. And they dump it upfield for Dave McWilliams, hanging back at the midfield line. Leads it for Ronson, but Bursic clears it away. 1:35 to go. Dudek sending it, and it will land on the Spirit bench. It was deflected, apparently not deflected by Pittsburgh, or by Baltimore, I should say. It is Baltimore's ball, but Dudek really got us excited up here, John, when he broke down the left side.
Had some room once again, and he had some help to his right. He took it in, took the shot, and the shot was quickly blocked. Actually, Baltimore can almost go into a penalty killing type defensive setup because they've got 1:33 to get rid of, and they'll be in the playoffs.
And look who they have out there. They have Buriano, who's a penalty killer. They have Collins, who's fresher and who can run. They have Stamenkovic, who can control the ball. They've got a blend of everything, and they've got Chinapoo and Savage, two very skillful defenders back there. 1:33 to go. 3-2 Baltimore. Right side, Stamenkovic. Great back heel for Chinapoo, but he can't handle it. Collins was open in the box. Chinapoo off the board. Save made by David Bursic. Stamenkovic must have made 4 or 5 great passes here tonight. Bursic will wisely call a timeout. Now, Don Popovic normally does not go with a 6th attacker with 1:19 to go. I think he's going to do that. I think he'll go with a 6th attacker. Maybe it'll be Godfrey Ingram. But with the Baltimore Blast leading it by the score of 3-2, and there's no guarantee that Pittsburgh can get another goal at this stage, Don Popovic may go against his usual beliefs here because it's the end of the season.
That decision will be made right now on the Pittsburgh bench. 1:19 left, John Paul. It's been a pleasure for me this season. We thought we were through in Dallas. The Spirit fooled us.
That's right.
So maybe they'll fool us yet in the last 1:19.
I don't mind being fooled again, do you?
No.
Well, we'll see what happens. The Spirit are talking it over. I saw Dave Douglas, the Spirit trainer, with the red jersey ready. And now we don't see anyone donning it. So perhaps they will not go with a 6th attacker. Well, we'll wait and see. I thought he was.
As you mentioned, that has not been his style in the past. Of course, he had the kind of teams with the New York Arrows that he did never need a 6th attacker. They were never behind.
Steve Jungle was there. When Jungle was there, you could be 1 down or 2 down and not have to worry too much. He could get those goals. But the Spirit and really most of the other teams are not quite blessed with a player of Jungle's caliber. Pittsburgh down 3-2. They still could do this even with Bursic in goal. But they need to get the big effort. They need to get a break. We'll see what they do. And Bursic is coming out. So with 1:19 to go, David Bursic will stay in. I saw that red jersey come out, so I don't know whether they changed their mind or not. But Don Popovic going with what is more comfortable for him, which is not to use that 6th attacker. And Pittsburgh, quite frankly, has not had much practice with it, so it might be better this way. We'll see. David Bursic with the ball. Holding it, now throwing it. Headed away by Chinapoo. Back deep into the Spirit zone. Bursic out of his goal. Knocks it off the near boards. McKenzie after it. Double team. Knocked away by Whitman, but O'Hara is there. Johnny has to knock it up the left side just to get it out. Savage dumps it back into the corner. Bursic will get it. 56 seconds left. 3-2 Baltimore. Leite with it. Holding it. Left side for John O'Hara. Off the boards. They want Terlecki, but Savage says no. Leite will get it back in the neutral zone. On the left side, O'Hara. Buriano dumps Leite. Not even a foul. And I thought that was a ridiculous play by Buriano, but he doesn't get caught. Terlecki along the right boards. Stan holding it. Draws double coverage. Everybody kicking at that ball. Terlecki will win it. For Leite, knocked away from him. O'Hara back for 26 seconds left. Knocked downfield by Whitman, who runs into his own man, Chinapoo. Bursic out of his goal. Left side for Ingram. Chinapoo after it. You were right, John. The officials are not going to call much here.
Well, they finally called a foul there, but there was a couple fouls earlier that weren't called.
Leite in the attack zone. Off the boards for Ingram. Blocked once, twice. Towed out to Terlecki with 12 seconds left. Tries to turn it inside. Stan holding it along the near board. Still with it on the left side. A shot. Save Van Aaron with 5 seconds left. He's going to hold on to the ball. Baltimore will go into the playoffs. And despite a great effort tonight by the Pittsburgh Spirit, they will lose the way they have lost a lot of games this year. Hard luck, great goaltending, could not get the big goal to win the game in support of Dave Bursic, but they did not quit at all tonight. They came back several times, and it goes right down to the final 5 seconds of play before you can say that the Spirit are actually eliminated. Stay with us. John Sanders and I will be back to do some recapping and say some thank yous when we return. The season is over on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
People with emotional problems are often lonely.
Reached the playoffs one more time. They are the defending Eastern Division champions, but they had to struggle until the last 5 seconds of the regular season even to reach the playoffs this year. Credit Van Aaron with an excellent job. We talk about our Stroh's offensive and defensive players of the game. I think the offensive player of the game has to be Stan the Man, who really set up the offense for Baltimore tonight.
Well, his presence was really felt tonight, John. He scored the very first goal and was able to assist on what turned out to be the game winner. But he controls the ball so well. When he's out there, he really makes everybody work, and he nullifies basically the person who has to mark him, in this case Adam Topolsky. It's tough for Adam to go forward with a man like Stamenkovich back there, and I've got to agree with you on our Stroh's player of the game offensively. It has to be Stan Stamenkovich.
And let's see, defensive player of the game. Got any nominees? That's a tough call because it was an offensive game, basically.
I've got two, and I think you've got to give it to the goalkeepers. The winning goalkeeper is Van Aaron, so I think you've got to look towards him. But I think David Bursich gave the kind of performance tonight that he has given all year. He carried the Spirit on their backs. The score is slightly misleading. Pittsburgh had the effort, and I thought they played very, very well tonight, and it's their second outstanding game on the road. But think about how many big saves David Bursich made, the clutch saves, the saves when they counted, the penalty shot that at first I didn't think he stopped, and then in the second play, it was David Bursich again doing really what he does best, and the guy that has shouldered a lot of the problems for Pittsburgh because his record shows that he's lost 21 games, is a guy that everybody knows is their MVP, David Bursich.
And back on the field come the Baltimore Blast players to mingle with the fans and sign some autographs and celebrate a well-earned victory tonight. You have to give them credit, as Kenny Cooper says thank you to the fans of Baltimore who've supported this franchise well, and they've got some more games to come. Unfortunately, the Spirit do not, but they battled down to the very end. Think of it this way, John Paul. Pittsburgh got beat tonight on 2 set plays. Stamenkovich made one himself when he shot off the set play. The other one, a beautiful play in which 2 offensive players for Baltimore charged into the box area, cleared it out, sagged the Pittsburgh defense. Then they brought up from behind Mike Stankovic. He had the shot, and with the rocket that he has, it was a beautiful play, and that was the winning goal.
Well, set pieces have hurt the Spirit all season long. You mentioned on those 2 scores, and also playing away from home has really hurt them. And even though they've played better on the road, the losses still show for the Pittsburgh Spirit. They finish at 23 and 25, but on the road their record is 5 wins and 19 losses. And this building itself, we mentioned before, 2 wins for Pittsburgh, and that's all. So they're up against the wall. Van Aaron had beaten them 7 times in this building. And think of all the bad things that have happened here. In 2 games this year in this building, it looked like Pittsburgh was going to win, especially in one. A Dave Hagen foul caused Pittsburgh, it turned out a game, and maybe more than that, because Hagen and Don Popovic had words in the dressing room. Hagen was tossed out. He later became a member of the Wichita Wings. So the building has not been kind to the Pittsburgh Spirit.
And again, thank you to KQV, News Radio 1410, and to KDKA TV, both in Pittsburgh, for their fine support this season. And the Spirit took it right to the final few seconds. Stan Terlecki would not give up the ball. The Spirit did not give up the effort.
They did not. They had a chance right to the end. If someone had gotten a piece of it, a deflection, or a Van Aaron has a miscue, then maybe something happens. But it was Leite playing it in off the boards. Ingram got a piece of it, and the ball seemed to have eyes on it for Pittsburgh. It would not escape the zone. Terlecki gave it one last try, and he's the guy you really would like to have his foot on the ball with time running out, because he can shoot him. And remember, even though he doesn't score here, he had scored, or he had one go right off the post, and we get a chance with a monitor we have here to see it again. And Tim Whitman, in reaching for that ball, almost got his foot on it. If he had, it could have gone the other way. Now, before we close out here, I got to thank you for working with me again. This is 4 years now that we've done this thing, and since we do have radio here tonight, I'd like to thank the people on the radio side, Bruno Schwartz in particular, who has been my color commentator for 4 years on Spirit Soccer, and Mel Check, who gets us on the air each and every time.
And a special thank you, of course, to Chris Wright, all the members of the Pittsburgh Spirit, especially Coach Don Popovic, who has been so good in working with us, and the players, each one of them individually, who have given their time to help us get ready for these games. We certainly wish all of them a good summer, and we look forward to next season for the Pittsburgh Spirit, the 1986-87 season in Pittsburgh. I guess you have to wish Baltimore good luck, although I think in the last 2 games the Blast have started to turn it around a little bit. Maybe they're going to come back.
Well, I don't envy them, especially if they have to play Cleveland, but we'll see. Hopefully it's going to be a great playoff series. It's too bad Pittsburgh's not in it.
The season is over for Pittsburgh, and our season is over for this year. For John Paul Della Camera, this is John Sanders saying so long from Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer has been brought to you by Stroh's, America's Fire Brewed Beer. By Burger King, home of the bigger and better Whopper. Aren't you hungry for Burger King now? By Mellon Bank, a neighbor you can count on. And by Cameron Coca-Cola Bottling Company. We've got a taste for you. Coke. The executive producer of Spirit Soccer is Bill Strong. This game has been produced and directed by Doug Kennedy. Production facilities arranged for by Unitel Mobile Video. This has been a CAC Sports presentation.
Does your supermarket keep